Live at the Etihad, sprinklers are on. The players are in the dressing room getting final words from managers ahead of this FA Cup quarter-final. 10 minutes to kick off. And just to clear up those little teasers, it was Kylie Minogue. I should be so lucky. It was number one in March 1988. And Jim was right. Mel Machin was the manager of Manchester City when they lost 4-0 at home to Liverpool in an FA Cup quarter-final. Does he know who got the other goals? That's the big question. One was an Australian.
Craig Johnston.
Are you cheating?
I'm about to, but I haven't cheated on that one. Buy me a bit of time, I will be cheating.
John Barnes scored an absolutely brilliant goal in the game. I can't even remember who got the other one, but that was the first visit to Main Road for me for that FA Cup tie, and it was a privilege to see that Liverpool side. Sir Alex Ferguson is just taking his seat here. He's booing both teams. Man City up against Liverpool. It's FA Cup game day on Talksport with McDonald's order delivery on the McDonald's app from 11 a.m. 18 plus fees applied to delivery orders subject to availability. Price may vary. Let me tell you what's coming up on Talksport. We had just a brilliant time on Good Friday around the grounds in the EFL yesterday afternoon. I saw a cracking game. West Bromwich Albion against Wrexham, a 2-2 draw. Some brilliant goalkeeping in the game. Monday I'm going to be at Reading against Lincoln, where there's every chance Lincoln will secure promotion to the second tier. And they haven't been in the second tier for 65 years. Not even Stuart Pearce was born the last time Lincoln were in the second tier of English football. Join me at midday where we've got live commentary of Portsmouth against Oxford, which is gigantic, down at the bottom of the Championship, and that's followed by Around the Grounds, all the goals as they go in. Easter, make or break. Remarkably at the bottom of the Championship, there were no losers apart from Sheffield Wednesday, but everybody except Blackburn drew. So it's pretty much as you were, with Blackburn just a little bit closer to safety. So Portsmouth Oxford on Monday, 12:30 kickoff, live on Talksport, that one. Then we're Around the Grounds, 3 o'clock on Talksport 2. It's Ipswich against Birmingham. Ipswich have got games in hand, but they need to make up ground after Millwall's victory yesterday took them into second place. Millwall won at Middlesbrough, who go to Swansea on Monday at 5:30. That's live and exclusive on Talksport 2. And then Coventry, what a game last night, live on Talksport. They had to grind it out, but they got there in the end. Jack Radoni sensational off the bench as Coventry beat Derby by 3-2. Coventry go to Hull Monday night, live and exclusive on Talksport. And then it's Champions League. Arsenal's trip to Lisbon, live on Talksport on Tuesday. And we're in Paris with Liverpool on Wednesday night, live on Talksport, where the football never stops. And we're here for the FA Cup quarter final. The seats are filling up with 8 minutes to kick off. Flags are flying and the fans taking their seats. They're always usually very late taking the seats here at the Etihad, but they won't want to miss a second of this one. And it's become, Mickey Gray, a modern rivalry, hasn't it? Manchester City against Liverpool, from back when Klopp and Guardiola were vying for the title, when they were amassing ridiculous amounts of points for the title. Liverpool, with their points tallies and not winning the title, unthinkable. It kind of puts into perspective what's going on this season. It's going to be a fairly low points tally. Can't take it away from Arsenal. If it is going to be Arsenal winning the league, they'll finish top, and that's what matters. But those days of Liverpool and Man City going head to head, 100-mile-an-hour clashes between the two, this is the modern football rivalry that we've become accustomed to, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I mean, with speculation about both managers, I suppose, Adrian, you can maybe bring that into this conversation as well. But yeah, look, this is an important game, and it's an incredible game. It's going to be brilliant to have the 7,000 Liverpool supporters in this stadium. It's going to crank up that atmosphere, there's no question of it. But what's at the end of it? Winning an FA Cup trophy means everything to both these clubs and where they've been. I miss the rivalry, I have to say, from Jurgen Klopp and Pep Guardiola. He's always said, Pep, that he respects Jurgen Klopp, I think, more than any other manager that he's faced throughout his footballing career. And Arne Slot's in the technical area now, but this is a big day for him as well in Liverpool. It's a massive occasion. As I said before, we know what's at the end of it, but it's all about today. Between now, right at this very moment, and the end of the season, you're right. Arne Slot has got to keep his job. I was listening to the Sports Breakfast this morning. They were saying that this could be his time. The next couple of weeks will decide whether he keeps his job or not. Champions League qualification
is a huge thing for Liverpool in terms of league position, or maybe even possibly winning the Champions League. That option is still there if they progress. But actually, I think from a fan's point of view, winning the FA Cup is quite important as well, traditionally for Liverpool fans.
Yeah, look, it's not the Premier League, which he won in his first season, but it's something. And, you know, the murmurs, I suppose, have started to get a little bit louder about the speculation of what's going to happen with Arne Slot in the summer. And you're right, it is up until the end of the season. But if I'm honest with you, Adrian, I think Champions League position is a must. I really do.
And that could do you see, if they don't make Champions League, do you see him leaving at the end of the season?
Well, it's always ironic, isn't it? There's always somebody in the wings. We talked about Man City, maybe in a different kind of conversation, if you like, but Xabi Alonso being out of work, Steven Gerrard being out of work. I think it's still a little bit too early for Steven to jump into the Liverpool hot seat, if I'm completely honest with you. But I think the Alonso thing is really interesting, is to see how they finish the season. And if it isn't a good end to the season, those murmurs will start to get even louder and louder.
But you know what? I think they might look across at United and see, everybody would have said, oh, you can't have a man who's just lost his job at Middlesbrough taking over at United. And yet Michael Carrick looks like he could well be the permanent manager. Yeah. So in terms of Gerrard, I can see that happening.
Well, I can't. I think in the future, but I think the next person to step into that technical area, if it does happen this summer, I don't think it's Steven.
We'll see Steven Gerrard on the Breakfast Show on Talksport on Tuesday morning. Don't miss that. The banner across the way says blue and white, they go together. A big FA Cup tifo in the middle, and then it carries on. We will carry on forevermore. And a lot of people seem to forget that Manchester City did have success before the takeover, before Sheikh Mansour turned up in 2008. They were big in the late 60s and early 70s. They had big players as well. They won the title. They were big in Europe. This was a big side with success. Some people think it is just recent. Yeah, there's more success recently, but now they've got a big job on here this afternoon, live on Talksport. FA Cup quarter-final. Talksport's quarter-final ride starts here, and this, the only national radio station you can hear this particular game. Make no mistake, the FA Cup means so much. It's Man City against Liverpool, with a man who scored in an FA Cup final, Stuart Pearce, alongside your commentator, Jim Proudfoot.
Thank you, Adrian, and a very good afternoon to you at the start of the business end of the season. The international break's out of the way. From here on in, 8 weeks of football that will decide the two remaining domestic honours and the distribution of the European glory. So much more besides in the EFL. And as has often been the case, Man City and Liverpool have a late season meeting with plenty at stake, even if circumstances have changed its context. This year doesn't see the title on the line, 6-pointer, but 90 minutes of knockout football to earn a day out at Wembley with a crack at another. For City, the stakes are high, a chance for two pieces of history to prolong the chance of further, more significant accolades. They remain the only English side ever to win a domestic treble. It's a feat they could yet still repeat 7 years on. For Liverpool, the defence of their title over, these next 4 days could define how much they can salvage with cup quarter-finals at home and abroad. A bad week now is sure to polarise opinion. This is how they line up. Manchester City is having their picture taken away to our left-hand side. Trafford in goal. Nunes, Kusanov, Gahey and O'Reilly. Rodri and Bernardo Silva. Semenyo, Cherki and Doku. And Haaland. For Liverpool, Mamadashvili in goal in the continued absence of the injured Alisson. Gomez, Konate, Van Dijk and Kirkes. Gravenberch and Jones. Salah in his first game since he announced he was leaving Liverpool. Szoboszlai and Wirtz. And Ekitike up front. On the benches for Manchester City, Donnarumma, Reinders, Ake, Marmoush and Kovacic. Gonzalez, Aït-Nouri, Savinho and Foden. And for Liverpool, it's Woodman, McAllister, Chiesa, Gakpo and Robertson, Frimpong, Nioni, Morrison and Ngamoa. And Pep Lijnders, who known so well by everybody at Liverpool, is the man that is making the decisions, at least in theory, communicating those decisions from the edge of the Manchester City technical area today, with the Pep serving a one-man touchline ban. So City in there, huddle away to our left-hand side. Liverpool similarly in one, away to our right, in front of the 7,000 travelling supporters in the upper tiers of the South Stand. It's Michael Oliver who's the referee, who will be very shortly calling the players to order. He's fresh back from Turkey's win in Kosovo the other night. Well, there's been more than 150 years of FA Cup football, but the history books are there to be rewritten. No club has ever reached 8 successive semi-finals. No club has ever won 18 successive home ties. But Manchester City eyed both of those achievements today. Standing in their way, the Liverpool side, they haven't beaten the FA Cup since the 1970s. Reds with a point to prove that there can yet be a positive end to their season. It's Liverpool that get us underway. Ball punted straight out of play deliberately for a throw that will be taken by Manchester City down towards the corner flag, maybe not quite as close to the corner flag as Liverpool were hoping for. A throw that is taken by Núñez, returned by Van Dijk, brought down at left back for City by the turning O'Reilly, who looked as though he turned into trouble in the form of Szoboszlai, then expertly turns away from it. That's a really good start of the game from Nico O'Reilly, the City hero in their last game at Wembley with those 2 goals a couple of weeks ago in the League Cup final. Ball cleared by Mamardashvili, looking for the blonde-haired Ekitike, who can't quite bring the ball down. Núñez in a more central position, works it to his left for O'Reilly. City still inside their own half. They're trying to release Jeremy Doku, who's got the run on Joe Gomez here. Shown inside, but Doku's still got it. Wirtz puts himself in the way, in the line of fire. Doku with a neat turn feeds O'Reilly. Bernardo Silva makes a darting run to his left. He's back for Doku. He gets the first shot of the afternoon in. He's dragged it wider than near post. 0-0 with 75 seconds gone here on Talksport. And here, the former FA Cup final goal scorer, Stuart Pearce.
Well, City have certainly settled into this game with a real air of confidence. We talked about Salah leaving. I think Bernardo Silva, my favourite Premier League player, will be leaving. I'll miss him next year without a doubt, but it's brilliant to see an away section that is the whole away end near enough, Jim, isn't it? It's brilliant. The atmosphere in this ground's incredible.
It really is such a major plus point for FA Cup football that the attendances can be as big as they are for the away contingent. 7,000 of them today, 15% of the stadium capacity. And you're talking about Bernardo Silva, a milestone for him today as well. It's his 450th Manchester City appearance.
The incredible thing is, his stats, he's probably the distance he'll cover a day will be more than any player on this football pitch.
And he's just involved here with a little cushion header back for Kusanov, who hooks it quickly out to O'Reilly on the Manchester City left. You're with Talksport, the only station bringing you all 4 FA Cup quarter-finals live. Wirtz has done well to win the ball back. Salah for Ekitike near the edge of the D. Ekitike then taking a very circuitous route towards goal. He very quickly put the brakes on and went backwards, finding Van Dijk, who plays forward for Ryan Gravenberch, and Joe Gomez has it now. A sensible ball from him in towards Wirtz, who's controlled it neatly. It's a good start from both teams here. Hooked by Wirtz, down towards Ekitike. Left-hand side of the penalty area. Roll back for Wirtz again, whose shot just took a little bobble on its way through. Deflected off Bernardo Silva. That took the pace out of it as well. And Trafford could rush out and pick it up before it goes out for a corner.
Yeah, I think in that Liverpool build-up there, I think at least either Wirtz or Ekitike should have got a shot away slightly earlier than they did. By the time they did, there was numbers around the ball.
Kirkes has done well to win it back. Playing forward for Jones. He's fouled by Rodri. Free kick to Liverpool. 10 yards outside the penalty area. Almost level with the left-hand edge of the box. With 3.5 minutes in here on Talksport, and it's still 0-0. So a very good morning to you as well. If you're listening across North America on Sirius XM FC, as we bring you all 4 of these FA Cup ties to you listening in the United States and Canada over the course of the weekend. We'll go through the timings of them all for you as this half progresses. City keeping a high line here on the edge of the penalty area. Salah made a movement towards the ball there, and then Szoboszlai told him to stop. It's going to be Dominic Szoboszlai, just clips this in. Kanate with a little flick header which looped over Van Dijk and Trafford could come out and catch it comfortably.
Yeah, trajectory of the ball really, really good, but it needed more pace on it, so just a little touch would have sent it goalward with real pace. The touch was there, but no pace on the ball.
Konate, who was part of the Liverpool side that won the FA Cup back in 2022, the last time that they won it, the only one of the last 13 finals in which Liverpool have played. There's a rare one that Manchester City missed. Ball played from our right-hand side and brought down neatly in the midfield by Rodri. City looking for an 8th successive FA Cup semi-final. On the march here with Nico O'Reilly. An enterprising, high-tempo start from both teams at 0-0 with 5 gone. Throw to City over on the far touchline there left. They are looking to beat Liverpool 3 times in a season. For the first time in their history, they've not actually beaten Liverpool in 3 successive games between the two since 1937. But only 2 of those in the same season. They have never beaten them 3 times in the same year. Liverpool have beaten City 3 times in the same season. Núñez will play the ball down towards Antoine Semenyo here. Semenyo taking on his former Bournemouth teammate Milos Kerkez. Worked it inside. Ekitike did a brilliant job there. Coming back just to intercept the ball that was laid back towards Ryan Cherki. The retreating Núñez can still nod it down for Cherki. Will bring it inside the penalty area. Drives a low ball in. Vincent Kerkez defending. And City get the first corner of the day.
Well, what I haven't seen from the Liverpool midfield 3, and I don't know whether they're getting overloaded in that midfield area, but the press from Gravenberch, Curtis Jones and Wirtz has not been that good, to be honest with you. They've not been able to get near City, and they played through that press in the middle band.
0-0 through 6. Bernardo Silva to take the corner. Puts the right hand up as a signal. Rodri then makes a darting near post run. The ball is swept in. Mamardashvili with good handling. Did well, just got his hands above his head and was able to bring it down. A fair bit of traffic for him to get through. And bowls it out quickly and lays it out to the right for Gomez to bring it forward.
That's a feature of the game that when we've ever gone up, and I equate to my time on the coaching staff with West Ham here, when you go up against Liverpool and you've got an attacking corner, you're always fearful about conceding a goal because of the counter-attack, and I don't see them do that anymore. 3 of their players broke out. Goalkeeper didn't trust them to play it early enough.
Can work it through the midfield here very neatly with Ryan Gravenberch bringing it forward. Ekitike to his left. Slips him in now. First time ball from Ekitike. Curved through the penalty area. Chested down well by Szoboszlai. Wirtz. And then it breaks down. And Doku should be able to bring it away. Gets past a couple of challenges. And Gomez stuck out a right foot and steered it to safety for Liverpool. And gets them back on the front foot again immediately. Curtis Jones for Virgil van Dijk. It's still 0-0.
I think Gomez is finding it difficult against Doku at the moment. He's a handful at the best of times.
Jones. Now a chance to deliver from that right flank. Salah was waiting. It's cleared. Szoboszlai pings one in left-footed. That's blocked. Kerkez recycles it on the stretch outside the penalty area. Konate for Gravenberch. Back for Gomez again. There's been more enterprise, more belief about Liverpool in the opening minutes here than we've seen in some of the recent away games that they've played. Gomez back for Van Dijk, who's the deepest of their outfield players, but he's worked it down towards Hugo Ekitike, who's gravitated frequently out of the left flank in these early stages. Ball's laid back for Van Dijk's 20 yards outside the penalty area. Gravenberch picks it up, turns, Scott Kerkez to his left. He's gone back for Van Dijk, who can work it between the lines for Jones. Bernardo Silva forces him to hurriedly play it immediately back for Konate, whose brisk ball intended for Salah was behind him and goes out of play for a City throw.
Yeah, I'm seeing the differences at the moment. If Liverpool want to play through City, they've got to sort of go round the outsides a little bit. I think City have got the ability and have shown that they can play probably through the middle of the press.
So here is Bernardo Silva in possession. Player who scored at Liverpool earlier this season. Remains his only Premier League goal of the campaign so far. Now Mark Gahey able to bring it forward. Experiencing this fixture here for the first time. Rodri down for Núñez. And Semenyo coming to meet us. A good battle, an intriguing one between him and Kirkes. Two players who know each other's football so well, nor the little idiosyncrasies that each of them have from their time together at Bournemouth. And free kick goes Liverpool's way this time. And Curtis Jones looking to take it quickly. He can just nudge it forward for Ugo Ekitike. Wirtz, who's had a pretty free role so far. Back for Van Dijk. Van Dijk finding his goalkeeper, Mamardashvili, pinging a long direct ball out towards the right-hand side. It's headed out of play by O'Reilly for a Liverpool throw. Talk me through the way that Liverpool are setting up at the front end of the field with Salah and Ekitike almost as very wide split strikers to try and get Wirtz in. He's not quite playing as a false nine because he's never high up enough to do that, but there's so much space in the middle. They're trying to draw City defenders out. Yeah,
they certainly are, and what they're trying to do is, as you rightly said, Wirtz and Szoboszlai are sort of dropping in behind Rodri and Silva, trying to get on the ball. The one thing City have got in their favour, they got pace at the heart of their defence. They can dip in and dip out quickly enough. They've decided to hold position at present, though.
Wirtz forward here towards Ekitike. Kirkes making a quick run to his left. It's played back in towards Florian Wirtz again. Ekitike taking it on and did so hurriedly. He's dragged it wide. Rodri coming across to put the pressure on. And it's out of play for a goal kick.
This is an understanding that I think these two individuals love playing with each other, Wirtz and Ekitike, you know. They enjoy giving each other the ball, feeding, and the little interchanges, which I think will only get better as time goes on.
City with Rodri. Quickly looked up to see who was where and found three in red around him, but he played it safely back for Nunes. Nunes through the penalty area to Kusanov. And out towards Mark Gahey. Gahey to Rodri. Now a bit of space for Ryan Cherky. As City have played through the press beautifully there, as Stuart was saying a couple of minutes ago. Cherky's got it. Haaland making a reverse run down the right-hand side of the penalty area, but the ball didn't find him. O'Reilly drifting into that central position from left back. Recycling it back for Rodri. Bernardo Silva. Now Margahey brings it forward. Jeremy Doku trying to take it, pressurised well by Joe Gomez before O'Reilly takes matters into his own hands by just easing Szoboszlai to the ground. Free kick to Liverpool just outside their own box. 0-0 here on Talksport, 12 minutes played.
Yeah, as I say, both teams have shown master technicians in both teams, more than adequate keeping the ball. Liverpool probably had slightly the more territory, I would say, but failed when they've got into the final third to get a clear opportunity to have a dig at goal.
Now listen, it's early stages, but possession 60-40 in Liverpool's favour so far, and 4 shots to 1 in Liverpool's favour as a result of that. I think Arne Slot will be really happy with the start that his side have made. Albeit the steward has identified a couple of facets of their play that City might be able to exploit. Kusanov guiding it down the right-hand side of the midfield here for Antoine Semenyo. And played back again towards Rodri. Silva, this is all in Liverpool territory at the moment. Gahey coming forward. O'Reilly making a darting run down the left-hand side of the area. Work back for Bernardo Silva. Gahey still up there to supplement this attack. And then Haaland will try and get to a loose ball ahead of Konate. And the Frenchman went shoulder to shoulder with him and dug it clear and put it out of play for a throw near the corner flag.
Yeah, just looking at Szoboszlai, he's almost from that central midfield area, he's dropped into an almost right back position, right wing back, let's say, just dealing with Doku at this moment in time. And I'm sure Gomez will be delighted he's got a little bit of assistance.
Kusanov. Back from him to Rodri. O'Reilly. Playing it immediately, guiding it back for Gahey, who brings it forward here to find Rodri. Tesh Nunes coming forward, letting fly. Mamardashvili able to get behind it easily. The only thing that was going to deceive him there was potentially the bounce of the ball. He's then picked it up and whacked it straight upfield. And Salah is in. It's Mo Salah from a tight angle, and he's dragged it way across the face of goal and out of play for a throw. think there was a deflection from Kusanov as a big part of that. He just got back goal side. Looked as though he'd been caught under the flight of the ball, but he recovered well. He did enough to divert Salah's effort away.
Yeah, these are the lightning counter-attacks that were a real feature of Liverpool's play in probably years and months gone by. And on that occasion, brilliant. And Salah's just delayed. And Kusanov, because he's got that pace, I think he managed a mistake on the halfway line, but rectified it with his sheer pace. That should be a goal, to be quite honest with you.
So much credit to Mamardashvili. But Salah unable to give him the assist. The ball inside the penalty area from that long throw from Gomez, and is cleared. Kirkes had plenty of time to deal with it. He used it all before getting it away from Cherki. Then Ekitike and Wirtz combining well. Van Dijk still forward. Back from Jones. Out towards Gomez. First time ball in from him. And Doku's blocked it. Gomez very quickly to it. Lays it back to halfway. Gravenberch finding Kanate. Now Gravenberch with a long ball over the top. And Wirtz very nearly judged the bounce better than Trafford. Trafford just waiting for the ball to drop into his hands. Wirtz attacking it, having a run at it, but Trafford's hands were good. Gets it forward. First 15 minutes of race by here on Talksport. High standard for the 3 remaining FA Cup quarter-finals to live up to. Chelsea against Port Vale at 5:15. Southampton, Arsenal at 8. And then tomorrow it's West Ham Leeds at 4:30. We've got them all here on Talksport, the only station where you can hear all 4 FA Cup quarter-finals. Rodri's in possession now for Manchester City. And he's just worked it in towards the feet of Bernardo Silva. Good ball from Silva. Cherki. The angle was tight by the time he did get a shot in. And the defending from Kirkes was good enough. He just delayed for a moment. Had he put it foot through it first time, it could have been a different story. Now Liverpool on the counter. Ekitike hoisting a high ball out towards the right. Salah chasing after it. Taking on Guehi. Beating him once, but not a second time. And Guehi flicking it off Salah. How to play for a goal kick to Manchester City.
Well, 2 bits of brilliant play, I've got to say, at both ends. What a pass by Bernardo Silva there. Didn't think much was on. He did. He saw it. He saw Cherki. And at the other end, great defending by Guehi. 1-on-1 with Salah, which alarm bells have got to ring. But maybe a couple of years ago, that would have resulted in a shot. This resulted in a goal kick.
Mo Salah has scored in his last 3 FA Cup ties. If he scores today, he'll be the first man to score in 4 successive appearances in this competition for Liverpool since Emil Heskey 25 years ago. Here's Haaland making his way forward. Semenyo waiting on the edge of the penalty area. He's got it now. It's worked onto his left foot and his shot is blocked. Cherki gets back to his feet, having gone down in the box, and he's absolutely adamant that he should have been given a penalty. VAR is Paul Howard, who will be having a look at the incident. But there's no doubt in Ryan Cherki's mind that he was fouled. We're looking at a replay now as it was laid back to the edge of the penalty area. He's just trying to flick it with his right foot and come inside the box away from Kirkes. Stuart, what do you think?
For me, no penalty. I don't think Kirkes has had a swing at the ball to give a penalty. There was contact, no doubt about that. But for me, I wouldn't give a penalty there.
And now Liverpool, having had a free kick, wanted to take it quickly. Salah's made a run from in his own half, but it's been called back, and he would have been in. And the free kick is going to have to be retaken. In fact, the referee is saying his play's got to restart with a throw. Pep Guardiola has seen, we're looking at our monitors, of a picture of Pep looking at his monitor, and then admitting, seemingly by his body language, that it wasn't a penalty and that the officials got it right. That was my reading of it. Now free kick has been given City's way on halfway.
Slot just informing the 4th official that they're being dictated to by the crowd here. The pantomime has just started.
Plus ça change, Stu. Semenyo back for Rodri, and now Bernardo Silva. Bit of pressure being applied on Cherki by Curtis Jones. He's laid it back for Bernardo Silva. It's a passage of play, that last 30-40 seconds or so, that has really warmed up the choir at both ends of the ground. The Liverpool supporters away to our right in this crowd of almost 51,000 here today. And getting behind their side again. Forward it goes out to the Manchester City left. Looking from left to right as we look at it. Over on the far side, Doku's got it. Yeah. He just comes back and finds Silva.
Yeah, just looking there, Szoboszlai is working tirelessly for the team in the unselfish role. I think they've identified that Doku is going to be a problem. You leave him one-on-one with Gomez and he's getting over there and doubling up as often as he can.
Nunes to Semenyo. Manchester City changing their line of attack. Down to the right-hand side now. And Wirtz comes back and doubles up in front of Milos Kerkez. But his touch has gone over the line and out for another Manchester City corner. Their second. We played 20 minutes and it's still 0-0 here on Talksport.
Yeah, you'll get in these situations, and the victor today potentially might be the team that does more unselfish work for each teammate, as in doubling up in these wide areas where there's a threat on.
So the corner on the City right. Everybody apart from Nunes inside the box. Ekitike heads it away. So Nunes will scamper after it. Lays it back, and it's just gone over the line and out before Bernardo Silva acrobatically turns it back in field for Cherki. Liverpool given a throw. 8-time winners of this competition. They're one ahead of Manchester City in that regard. This actually only the 6th time that they've got to the quarterfinals in 25 years, which is, it feels like an amazing statistic. They've got a brilliant record in the last 8. They've won 17 of their last 19 FA Cup quarters, although they did lose the last one. Salah, back for Szoboszlai. And both sides will feel that they've started pretty well in this. Ryan Gravenberch. Laid out to the Liverpool right-hand side for Joe Gomez. So back for Gravenberch again. Konate receiving the ball in space, inside the centre circle. Turning it forward for Curtis Jones, who just immediately and hurriedly plays it back to him. So Gravenberch in his yellow boots can bring it forward now. It's worked forward. Bernardo Silva putting the pressure on. One of the most booked players in the Premier League has given the free kick away. Curtis Jones will stand over it, but it's much closer to halfway than the edge of the penalty area. You're listening to FA Cup Game Day on Talksport with McDonald's. Order delivery on the McDonald's app from 11 a.m. 18 plus. Fees applied to delivery orders, subject to availability. Price may vary. City defend that free kick ably enough. Headed out of play for a throw, which Liverpool will take on the left. Ekitike with the ball in his hand, but not for long, and he just drops it down for Joe Gomez to pick up. And Gomez electing not to launch that match ball in, but pick another one up off a little yellow cone in front of us. Just dries the ball on his shirt, waits for players to get in position. Van Dijk, the most advanced of his teammates, is hurled in with good distance and a little bit of swerve as well. City got it away. Cherki chases after the loose ball. That forces Kerkez just to quickly knock it straight up in the air. Back out to the left looking for Gomez, and it bypasses him and goes out for a throw that Nunes takes for Manchester City. 0-0 the score. Here's Stuart Pearce.
Yeah, I think we talked about both teams coming in back from the international break with all the travel and implication that implies, but I think both teams have settled in. Doesn't look like any rustiness in it in the ranks.
But Liverpool with Curtis Jones have done well to turn over possession in the midfield. Ekitike, good challenge on him from Kusanov. Szoboszlai battling, loses out to Doku. Haaland making a run ahead of him. Doku pulled back, and the referee's going to give a free kick and produce a yellow card for Ryan Gravenberch.
Yeah, as I say, when Doku sets sail, ahead of him Haaland looking to dart in behind. A couple of players looking to attempt to pull Doku back. And I'll tell you what, Gravenberch has gone to get him. I'm not sure he's had enough contact on him to actually to warrant a yellow card.
One was administered though by Michael Oliver. That's his 8th of the season. And here's Rodri bringing it forward for Manchester City. Semenyo, his target. The ball hit too far past him. Now Mamadashvili can come out and claim it. His last appearance coming in the third round win. His last FA Cup appearance, that is, coming in the third round win. He has kept a couple of clean sheets this season for Liverpool. Back here to Van Dijk, another former winner of this competition. That's a beautiful long crossfield ball out towards Salah, who heads it straight down for Gomez. Szoboszlai taking control, bringing it through the midfield, works it down towards Van Dijk. Ekitike has it. Wirtz. Those two, as Stuart's saying, have shown a great understanding. It can only be good for Liverpool going forward. Kirkes twists and turns and protects the ball from Ryan Cherky. Wirtz, Jones, Kirkes. Now Jones again. Kirkes taking it under immediate pressure from the pacey Mateus Nunes. He's played it back inside his own half. That has enabled the Manchester City backline to condense the play by pushing forward. They're within 12 yards of halfway now. Big space in behind them if the ball is well directed over the top. The one that was played for by Curtis Jones behind that back line, but far too low and flat. Salah stood no chance of getting on that. So still 0-0 past the midway stage of the first half.
Yeah, I think a big part of probably why you play Wirtz out on this left-hand side is he picks the ball up, or alternatively Ekitike does on the right-hand side. And the interchange between the two of them is outstanding, I've got to say, and it will only ever get better.
Bernardo Silva into space. O'Reilly clipping it forward. Doku, though, was offside. I think everybody anticipating it. Jeremy Doku himself looked across that little telltale glance, and Stuart Bird, the assistant referee, had the flag up against him. And it's a free kick that Liverpool will take midway inside their own half. Liverpool have beaten Barnsley, Brighton and Wolves to get this far. That Willem Molineux coming only a few days after they lost there in the league. If they can win again today, it's going to be the first time for a long time that they've won 2 away games against Premier League opposition in the same FA Cup run. They last did it 20 years ago. Jones, frustrated with himself that he couldn't get more of a contact on a ball and scoop it into the path of Ekitike. Ekitike still got it, but he had to retrace his steps back towards halfway to be able to pick it up. So Liverpool have still got possession, but the momentum had gone from the counter-attack. Wirtz now on the half-turn. He's had a really good start out towards Salah. Salah taking on O'Reilly's. Lady back, Dominic Szoboszlai, edge of the penalty area. Back for Salah again. Left-footed ball clipped in. Jones trying to just divert it back. Ekitike, and that's the best chance. It's whistled just over the junction of post and bar. He was 14 yards out. He struck it beautifully, but couldn't keep it down.
Yeah, he'll be frustrated with that. Once again, Liverpool building up to really good areas. There's a lot of numbers, both attack and defence, in and around that area. And that was, as you say, probably the best opportunity of the game. He just cut it slightly too high.
Now, he's got 17 goals this season. As Ugo Ekitike will be frustrated he hasn't got 18. There's a big shout for a handball here against Antoine Semenyo, who was trying to field a ball that had gone over his head. He thought that it was already over the line and had to play for a throw when he handled it. The assistant referee agreed with him. It is a throw to Liverpool rather than a free kick. The replay, let's say, was inconclusive. Wouldn't have been surprised had a free kick been given. Van Dijk has gone back for Konate. As we're approaching the half hour here on Talksport, Jim Bradford and Stuart Pearce talking through the action here at the Etihad where it's 0-0. Another ball in towards Ekitike, and he's offside this time as he diverts the ball back for Curtis Jones behind him, and then in frustration just flicks the ball away. No complaints from any of the City players that he should be booked for delaying the restart there, and rightly so. Free kick then to City on the edge of their box, 0-0.
Now, I'm just wondering with Pep sat upstairs today whether he's actually enjoying the hospitality, you know. We'll keep an eye on him, see if he comes back with some nachos.
I think there's every chance. I mean, if only he could be as easily bought as that. What would it take for you to see out the rest of your contract, Pep? Well, an afternoon of hospitality and a plate of nachos should see me fine.
It would do for me and you, that is for sure.
Well, wouldn't even take the hospitality for me. As long as the nachos were there. Nunes take a throw for Manchester City. It's amazing you didn't get longer then when you were here, if you could be that easily bought. Cherky
I could stomach the nachos, but City couldn't stomach me, my friend.
It's Doku in towards the edge of the penalty area, and the retreating Szoboszlai steers it behind and out of play for a corner. The first that City will take on the left-hand side. 0-0.
Yeah, I've just seen a couple of Colossuses up in the stand there. We got Sir Alex here today, but Rush and Dalglish, they weren't a bad front line in their time as well.
Yeah, some players. This is a fixture that is captivating attention all around the world. Half an hour in, 0-0. Very entertaining. Here's O'Reilly. The corner for City works short. Back out towards Jeremy Doku, who's been able to flick it in, improvising with the outside of the left boot, looking for Haaland. And cleared. Back out of play for a throw that City will take on the left. They haven't been able to create anything like a semblance of a chance for Haaland so far. Rodri bringing it forward. Ekitike maybe just pulled him back. Rodri kept going. Was forced to turn, but plays the ball out towards Doku. Wirtz back defending. Some great work rate off the ball from those in red today. Back for Cherki. Through the midfield for Rodri. Rodri. Down to Semenyo, bottom right-hand corner of the penalty area, running at Kirkes, firing it in. Mamardashvili threw himself to his right, beat it away. Back it comes again. Wirtz brings it down and finds Ekitike on the edge of his own penalty area. And Liverpool neatly can get out of harm's way. They win a throw. That was better from Semenyo.
Yeah, it was good play there, good wing play. Just dragged it and then drove it really quickly. Goalkeeper couldn't take the opportunity that might go through to a City player at the far post and parried it well.
Van Dijk knocking it away. Szoboszlai laying it down for Gomez. Now towards Mo Salah. It's the start of Mo Salah's long goodbye. Bound to be a very emotional affair when he bids farewell to Anfield. And was lucky enough to be at Anfield for Steven Gerrard's last game. Few years ago now, a match against Crystal Palace, and very emotional all around. Plenty of tears in eyes at Anfield. It may well be the same for Salah. And talking of Steven Gerrard, don't forget that on Tuesday morning, the Champions League winner will be in on Talksport Breakfast with Ali McCoist and Gabby Agbonlahor to talk all things Liverpool, talking about England's World Cup chances, where he is these days as well, his own managerial future, and of course casting an eye ahead to Liverpool's game in Paris, the Parc des Princes on Wednesday night, that we'll bring you here on Talksport. Steven Gerrard on breakfast, 6 a.m. Tuesday morning. Here's Cherki laying it back for Haaland. Haaland down towards Mark Gahey to Jeremy Doku, level with the edge of the penalty area. Doku back again for Cherki. The return ball over hit, and it's just drifted out of play. In front of the South Stand for a goal kick that will be taken by Mamardashvili. 0-0 the score here on Talksport with 13 to go to half-time.
Yeah, I can't help thinking this game and the first goal is going to hinge potentially on a really, really intelligent pass. And if that's going to be the case, you're going to be looking at the likes of Cherki, Silva, or potentially Wirtz or Szoboszlai, I think, in Liverpool's ranks.
Mamardashvili has already shown his ability to be able to find a player from distance upfield as well, quickly turning the City back line. He couldn't on that occasion. Nunes in towards Rodri, who emerges away from Wirtz's first challenge and was caught by his second. The free kick that City will take, and take it very quickly with Bernardo Silva exchanging passes with Kusanov. Silva again. Back for Rodri. City have won all 17 of Pep's FA Cup ties here at the Etihad. The last time they were beaten in this competition on this ground by Championship Middlesbrough in a fourth round tie 11 years ago. Liverpool hoping to end that run on the front foot here with Kirkes. He couldn't find a way past Nunes. And then the referee has given a yellow card to Rodri for his attempted foul in the Liverpool build-up there. The referee had played a good advantage. Rodri had just had his arms all around Ekitike, pulling the shirt back, and nothing came of it. Play stopped, and Rodri is booked. Yeah, great referee in there. Well done. Let play go on. Ekitike, brilliant set-up play by him. 6 yellow this season for Rodri to go along with the red that he had in Norway in the Champions League. Gomez in with a long throw. Again, spiralling inside the penalty area. It's knocked away. Back out for Curtis Jones. Bearded Gomez has it again. Hooks his foot around. Good ball in. Little layback from Van Dijk was clever, but nobody read it. No, Riley clears. That was a sensational run and touch from Van Dijk. If Ekitike had been on the same wavelength as him, he might have had a tap in. No, Riley was there to clear, and Van Dijk very quickly asking questions of his teammates as to why nobody could get on the end of his brilliance. Salah's got it. Four from him for Ekitike. A little bit of skill from him. Gets it back from Gravenberch then to Curtis Jones. Jones and Wirtz with a quick 1-2. Ekitike trying to take it on. Cherki is back and will bring it down towards the touchline. Guarded to safety for Nunes, who saw his first touch run away from him slightly. Then they go back for Trafford. Trafford under pressure. The press is intense. City have played through it. Semenyo down towards Cherki. Space now for Rodri coming forward. Turns away from Ekitike, lays it out for O'Reilly. The referee playing another good advantage City's way this time. And O'Reilly comes forward towards the edge of the penalty area. Bernardo Silva has it, still 0-0. Silva on the edge of the box as he dispenses with the ball out to his left for Jeremy Doku. Doku faced up by Gravenberch and Gomez. Lays it back for Guéhi. Rodri urged to shoot, takes it on a touch, then obliges. Shot that's blocked, comes back off a Liverpool player towards O'Reilly. And as he puts a cross in, it's deflected behind for City's fourth corner.
Well, I think if that would have ended up in the goal, that would have been one of the best team goals you've ever seen. I think every player had a touch of the ball, working it from literally their own goal line all the way up to the opposition's box. City have had good opportunities here from corners, but failed to sort of offer anything really as yet.
Yep, 3 so far, and none of them have caused any trouble. Fourth corner incoming. Again, Nunes outside the box, everybody else in it. Headed away though at the near post by Virgil van Dijk. And comes out for Nunes near the edge of the centre circle. From him to Bernardo Silva. Plenty of grass to work with as he makes his way forward towards the edge of the box. Now Jones engages, steps past him, lays it out towards Semenyo. Back from him to Rodri. Nunes. And still Nunes. And still Nunes through towards O'Reilly. He's gone down inside the area. And it's a penalty to Manchester City. Virgil van Dijk looks to the heavens. He said that there was nothing in it. But it was brilliant approach play from City again. Ball quickly into feet inside the penalty area. 2 or 3 twists and turns. And then O'Reilly committed his man. Dragged it away from Van Dijk. And Michael Oliver has given the penalty. It will, of course, be looked at. And the replay suggests that contact was minimal. What do you think, Stuart?
I've got to say it was very, very similar to the earlier one that I said it wasn't a penalty. On this occasion, I'd have to err on, I think it was probably the correct decision. This will not get overturned. There was enough contact by Van Dijk on O'Reilly, who was twisting away from him.
So Mateus Nunes, who was instrumental in getting City up the field to win that penalty, is standing protecting the penalty spot. And now Erling Haaland with the ball in his hands will spot it down. Scored 5 of the 6 penalties that he's taken this season. His miss came against Liverpool. He has scored in each of his last 3 appearances here at the Etihad against the Reds. Can he make it 4? 7 minutes to go to half-time. It's Haaland left-footed, dragged into the bottom right-hand corner. And Manchester City lead Liverpool as they look for a record-breaking 8th successive FA Cup semi-final. Erling Haaland delivers his first chance of the game, clinically dispatched into the bottom right-hand corner. Van Dijk with the foul, Haaland from the spot, City with the lead.
Yeah, there's been very little between these two teams. If anything, you might say that Liverpool have had the more territory and slightly more possession, but have failed to capitalise on any of the half chances or the territory they've had. And City on that occasion have drawn a penalty, and that man Haaland adds to his tally.
31st goal of the season for City, his 44th for club and country, 290th goal of his club career, and one of the more significant ones. City with the lead. They have won 80% of the games this season in which they've taken a 1-0 lead. Liverpool, for their part, have only come from behind twice. You'll be all too aware that a draw here will take the game to extra time and then to a penalty shootout. Liverpool don't have to complete a comeback to potentially reach Wembley. All they've got to do is get themselves level again, but they trail to that Haaland goal. Mark Gahey will bring the ball forward and find Rodri. There was a lot of anger on the Liverpool bench that the penalty was given City's way. Haaland coming forward again. It's knocked away. It was Nico O'Reilly who was just lurking with a little bit of intent inside the penalty area. Liverpool have cleared, get it out towards Ekitike. Kusanov, who's getting better with every game, just blocks his path and it's out of play for a throw to Liverpool.
When you have a look and think to yourself what has separated both these teams, you've got to say probably the defensive blocks and players. City haven't been careless with their challenges in the box when they've defended. Liverpool have had one shout that was turned down, which certainly they thought on the City bench it was a penalty, and the second one, another careless sort of challenge.
Here's Rodri. Back for Kusanov. 5 to go to half-time. Manchester City 1, Liverpool 0. O'Reilly for Doku. Cherki playing it back for Bernardo Silva. 4 from Kusanov again. And it's a goal that sets up the possibility of an 18th straight home win in the FA Cup for Manchester City, which is something that has never happened before in the history of this competition. Nico O'Reilly, I think a few thought he was offside as he received that ball. The flag stayed down. City will be able to build the existing run of 17 held by City themselves, and also Clapham Rovers, whose run was ended by the Old Etonians in 1881, which I'm sure you were well aware of. Here's Bernardo Silva. Played out towards the right for Antoine Semenyo. Semenyo just outside the right-hand side of the penalty area is able to work it back through towards Rodri. Rodri to his left. Mark Gahey will come forward now. Jeremy Doku keeping the width on the Manchester City left. Chance to run at Gomez. Stops, turns it back towards Rodri. Good possession, good pressure this from Manchester City. Liverpool have to make sure that there's no further damage inflicted before half-time. Long crossfield ball brought down on the right-hand side of the penalty area by Cherki. What a touch for Nunes. Right-footed ball hooked in. It was too heavy. And Gomez heads it away. What a touch from Ryan Cherki. That was a clever little flick round the corner, almost behind his trailing leg. City will come again. Liverpool just forced at the moment to hang in there with 2.5 to go to half-time. They trail 1-0 to that Haaland penalty. Cherki. Back for Gahey. Long diagonal from Rodri. Silva will bring it down on his upper chest. And it's he now that is taking on Milos Kerkez. Leaning over in this idiosyncratic style that he's got Kerkez, forcing Bernardo Silva back. Semenyo has it. Dragging his foot over the top of the ball. Going on the outside all the way around Curtis Jones. Looking for O'Reilly to head it back through the penalty area. He couldn't make clean contact, but Doku will pick it up. City coming again, ball in towards Cherki, the angle's tight and it's just run away from him. He's almost ended up tackling himself. The ball rolls into the pit of photographers just in front of the south stand and out of play for a goal kick. But City in the last 10 minutes have been completely dominant.
Yeah, they've got this air of arrogance about their football at the moment. Cherki enjoying being on the ball, Bernardo Silva especially, and they're just knocking the ball around and enjoying the lead in this game, making it difficult, starving Liverpool possession.
Kusanov for Rodri, and now Semenyo. Cherki to Rodri, and back for O'Reilly. I don't know what the position of the possession is in the last 10 minutes, but it could easily be 80-20 City's favour. They've played a long ball over the head of Joe Gomez here, but Doku's just pushed him.
I don't think he has pushed him, Jim, personally. That will be my opinion on that one.
Just having another view on our monitors now of the penalty incident. Can you understand the depth of Liverpool complaint?
I think it's one of those situations that the referee only, 10, 15 minutes before has turned down a penalty that was very similar to the one he's just given, and it's just a build-up, I think. You've had a shout for one, and I think the second shout was just too much for the referee to turn down.
So he's given half a penalty for each incident?
Exactly that.
Should he do that?
I think 2 halves make a whole, if that's what you mean.
Let me just go back through the laws a minute. Is that law 19 and a half?
We're talking fractions and algorithms here, I think you'll find.
The ball is out. It's a throw that will be taken over on the Liverpool right. We're coming up for first half stoppage time, and the fourth official, Paul Tierney's got the numbers board in his hand. We'll find out in a moment how many extra are going to be added on. Won't be a lot. Gravenberch to the edge of the box for Kanate. 2 additional minutes to be played. Wirtz has got it now. Free kick's gone Liverpool's way. They wanted to take it quickly. They would have done so from the wrong place. They pulled it back. Now Szoboszlai still takes it as quickly as he can, pinging one over the top of Núñez for Ekitike, who's forced to control it by nodding it down, and then it just rolled away from him, and in his frustration he threatens to slam the ball back towards Trafford. It's gone out for a goal kick. Just side-footed it back, and City take that resulting restart as quickly as they can. They lead 1-0, and probably they weren't 35 minutes in the better side, but probably over the balance of the game as a whole now they do deserve that advantage. And Haaland's making a blistering run forward here, and the ball almost cleared Van Dijk to find him. Well, he just had to stretch every sinew there, Virgil van Dijk, and steer it out of the flight path of Erling Haaland, because he would have been in. Jones, under pressure from Semenyo, wins a throw, in which Liverpool were taking the left-back position. But City then, for all the intricate passing football, they played easy on the eye, mixing it up almost a devastating effect.
Yeah, I think when Haaland sets sail down the middle like he did just then, you've got to pop that ball to him. Even if you think, I'm gambling with the ball, don't want to give possession away minute before half-time, you've got to give him some encouragement.
30 seconds to go to the break. 1-0 City, and they've got it with Bernardo Silva. Back from him to Mark Gahey. Turn forward again for Matheus Núñez. Núñez down towards Ryan Cherky, right inside of the penalty area. Another great little flick, and Haaland makes it 2. O'Reilly first to come across and congratulate. It was a brilliant ball for Cherky. Down towards Semenyo, right-footed ball in from him. Haaland comes to meet it inside the 6-yard box. Didn't need to put any power on it. It was all about steering it in past Mamardashvili. He scored twice in 6 minutes. Liverpool's FA Cup dream could well be over before half-time. City 2, Liverpool 0, and hopes of a domestic treble live on.
Well, fantastic setup here on the right-hand side. Great movement. A dink into the centre of goal, and it was Haaland who was on his toes. First across Kanate. Kanate sort of looking over his shoulder to see where he is. Here I am, right in front of you, by the way. And he's just guided it. Brilliant header. He's just guided it away from the goalkeeper into the far corner. This scoreline, a touch harsh on Liverpool, but City are growing into this game.
Scored the opener when the two sides last met here. He scored a stoppage time winner when they met at Anfield, and he scored twice in the last 6 minutes of the first half today. And Erling Haaland has given Manchester City what's not an unassailable lead as yet, of course, but they are in complete control as the first half comes to an end. Haaland from the spot on 39, and then again with his head in the second minute of first half stoppage time. It's Manchester City 2, Liverpool 0.
And as the City fans have just been singing, tearing Scousers apart again, Man City 2-0 up. And actually, mate, you're right, it is a little bit harsh on Liverpool, but it's the reality, and Liverpool have got a huge amount of work to do if they're to stay in the FA Cup this season, and they know it. as well. And Stuart Pearce, I think they can feel a little bit unlucky, but they have had territory, they have had chances. They haven't made enough of that territory or those chances, Liverpool, have they?
No, and that probably just about sums it up nicely. I say early on, I really enjoyed the interaction between Wirtz and Ekitike. They were creating things, but couldn't get a finish away. Salah went through, and you're thinking, hit the target. He delayed too long, ended up probably he had the best chance of the game, you would say. And at the end of it, it's City that put pressure on the Liverpool back line and forced 2 claims and 2 shouts for penalties, and one of them was eventually given. And then when Liverpool went for the half-time whistle to get in, City take a quick free kick, keep the ball in play and end up getting a second.
Talk to me about Haaland's nerves of steel with a penalty. He didn't actually score on international duty either, and there's been a little downturn in his form. He's the Premier League's top scorer. I mean, a downturn by his standards is stellar for a lot of other strikers, but that header, it's perfect, isn't it? The glance on the header is superb, isn't it?
It certainly is. His movement to create the space for the header is exemplary. He's pulled away from the back post. Konate's not kept an eye on him. You don't keep an eye on him, he'll either pull off the back of you or dart across the front. He went across the front and he just guided the header. The pace on the ball ended up gliding the ball into the far corner. Looked a lot easier than it actually was.
From Mickey Gray, from a defensive point of view, could and should Konate do better there?
Well, Erling Haaland has played that first 45 minutes alongside Ibrahim Konate. On one occasion, he ran in front of Virgil van Dijk. So it's obviously a ploy from Pep Guardiola to play on the weakness of Liverpool at the back line. And that's where Erling Haaland's had his joy. I'm just having a look at his stats, Adrian. He's touched the ball twice in the 18-yard area. He scored 2 goals. He's touched the ball 11 times in the game. That's what he brings to the table, Erling Haaland. He's not going to get involved in a play. To be fair to him, on a couple of occasions, he did drop to the halfway line. And there's 2 incredible dribbles towards the edge of the area. Nothing came from it. But I thought, I don't mind seeing that from Erling Haaland. But what you get best from Erling Haaland is when he's inside that 18-yard. That's when he comes alive. Tongue-in-cheek here, I had a brief conversation with Stuart before kick-off, and I said, Semenyo, watch him with Erling Haaland. He doesn't provide him any service because he wants to score goals. I've got to take it back. It was a brilliant ball into the area, but you need a striker who wants to make that run on a centre-half to get that half a yard or even less than that. But what a header. Yeah, absolutely brilliant.
What you're saying there isn't incorrect from what we've seen since Semenyo arrived, and he was, starring in the first month or so. He was here scoring goals, but he was coming in and he was playing more centrally. When he stays out wide, I think him and Haaland can work as a partnership, and I think that's the role going forward. Surely. Yeah,
it's a different position for him today, and I think as a wide player, he's expected to put the ball into the area for Erling Haaland, whereas he plays a little bit more narrower, or even on the left-hand side, because he gets onto his right foot. He wants to get a shot away before playing that extra pass into Erling Haaland. From a Liverpool perspective there, hopefully you all agree, they started with Salah and Ekitike wide. When they started to lose the ball a little bit, Liverpool, Szoboszlai dropped and started to play alongside Gomez as a fullback. That opened up so much space in that midfield area for Man City. That's when the game changed, because Rodri could dictate, Bernardo Silva could dictate. They were getting in behind Liverpool's midfield, and that's where the goals have came from.
Haaland's double and Manchester City lead by 2-0. This is a big moment for Arne Slot and for Liverpool in their season. We're in Paris with them on Wednesday for the Champions League, and they're not favourites for that. And now they're 2 down in the FA Cup quarter-final, away to Manchester City, live and exclusive and only on Talksport. It's a big half-time team talk in that Liverpool dressing room. You're listening to FA Cup Game Day on Talksport with McDonald's order delivery on the McDonald's app from 11 a.m. 18 plus, fees apply to delivery orders, subject to availability, price may vary.
FA Cup Live on Talksport with McDonald's. Got big McDonald's hunger? The Big Arch is here to stay. Available from 11 a.m. subject to availability, price and participation may vary.
Tonight, 2 icons of heavyweight boxing will collide live exclusively on DAZN.
It's going to be a showdown.
Derek Chisora born for battle, built for warfare.
A true warrior
Versus Deontay Wilder,
the hardest puncher.
the most destructive puncher in history, built to destroy.
Right hand landed.
Two icons, one unmissable fight night.
Let's get it on. This is the moment.
On April the 4th,
He's going down.
an icon will fall. Chisora versus Wilder. Watch only on DAZN.
Tesco Insurance are driving down the cost of motoring with 10% off car insurance. Take out a car insurance policy before the 15th of May 2026 and you'll get 10% off with club card prices. We offer a range of cover options, so you can choose the one that's right for you. Save 10% when you buy or renew a car policy with Tesco Insurance. Search Tesco Car Insurance and get a quote direct today. Club card required. Excludes add-ons. T's and C's apply.
Great result.
Thanks, Peter. Coming up, we have League Action live on Friday night, followed by 3 more games live on Saturday, then 2 more massive games live on Sunday. And don't forget, League Action live on Monday night. Then it's over to Europe for the big one, live on Tuesday. Then the even bigger one, live on Wednesday. Then it's the other European competition.
Sometimes a break isn't a bad idea. So, if ever you want to take time out from betting, use Paddy Power's Take a Break tool to pause your account. Paddy Power. 18 plus, begambleaware.org.
1983 election, she's won a landslide second term.
Police have been deployed to disperse crowds as the poll tax riots escalate.
Credit crunch is continuing to spread from the USA.
Britain has left the European Union. I mean, the list goes on. Boris, Liz,
We've
Rishi.
helped Britain invest through 45 years of change. That's why we're the UK's #1 investment and savings platform, trusted by 2 million people. Hargreaves Lansdown, helping Britain invest through it all. Investment returns vary. For claim verification, visit hl.co.uk.
Yesterday, I was watching Paradise when the president was found
super glued to his other half. Meredith Grey had to separate them.
In the Cotswolds. Oh, all these TV execs are having sordid affairs with
King James II, lovely beard, who's being seduced by
an assassin, calls himself the Jackal. Convincing disguises.
Disney Plus and Sky are now together in one subscription. So, that's this evening sorted. Sky, believe in better.
Requires Sky Stream and Sky Ultimate TV subscription. Includes Disney Plus, standard with ads. 18 plus.
Alright, what's for dinner tonight? Co-op's meal range served is prepped and ready for easy cooking. Choose from a selection of Mexican-inspired mains and sides, and dinner is served for 2. All for just £8 for Co-op members. Co-op, owned by you, right by you.
Ends 5th of May. Selected products. Co-op group membership required. Subject to availability. T's and C's and range at co.uk/served.
FA Cup Game Day live on Talksport.
I am going to win this fight, and I'm going to walk off and go home.
He's going to throw everything in the kitchen sink at me. He don't care what he hits.
Derek Chisora. How did he find that punch? Derek Chisora proves he still has the power.
Thou shalt not pass.
That is why Deontay Wilder is so exciting.
I don't think this fight will go past 8 rounds or 6 rounds.
He's not afraid. It's going to be an all-out war.
Heavyweight season continues this Saturday night. Tonight, right here on Talksport, Derek Chisora takes on Deontay Wilder at London's O2 Arena. Our expert team have been keeping you up to date throughout a busy fight week. Don't forget you can watch along with Talksport ringside on the night of the fight. That's Wilder Chisora tonight, live on the Talksport network, Talksport Boxing YouTube channel. It's on as well, and on your smart TV from 7 p.m. or watch live on DAZN. The news from the football world earlier: Kieran Trippier will leave Newcastle at the end of the season. There's no Enzo Fernandez for Chelsea against Port Vale in the Cup later. That's live on Talksport. He's been dropped for 2 games, the Vale Cup tie and Chelsea at home to Manchester City next Sunday. And later on, it's Southampton of the Championship against Arsenal. Mikel Arteta saying he's always honest. This after they withdrew 11 players from international duty in the recent window. Across the 20 Premier League sides, 228 players were called up by their countries for the qualifiers and friendlies. 23 of those players dropped out. 11 of the 23 were Arsenal players. So we'll see how many of those play later on this evening at St Mary's. Southampton take on Arsenal in the FA Cup. That, again, live on TalkSport. All 4 FA Cup quarter-finals are live on TalkSport, including tomorrow's West Ham against Leeds United. Just want to ask Stuart Pearce about that. You've got close connections with West Ham United. A home tie in the quarter-final represents a big opportunity for a club like West Ham to do something special in the FA Cup, doesn't it?
It certainly does. If I was there and back in the day and was asked the question, should we look after a few players, I would say 100% not. There's a great opportunity here for West Ham to get into a semi-final with the FA Cup. Also, there is Leeds, make no mistake about that. Both teams will fancy their chances. But for me, you've got to go double strong and try to win this game. The uplift that will give either team for the running for the rest of the season will be massive.
Yeah, that's the key, isn't it? But actually, just say a player like Somerville, who's been out recently, just say he's 50-50 for the game. And you're thinking, well, we're bottom three of the Premier League. We're still in trouble in the Premier League. Do I play him in the cup tie? Do I just rest him until the next Premier League game? That's got to be a consideration, isn't it?
I would go back to words of advice from Brian Clough. You would go to the player and you say, are you fit? Yes or no? If he tells me yes, you're playing because he gives you more chance of winning the game. End of. If a player, let's go back to Cloughie. I'm intrigued by this. If a player said to Brian Clough, yes, I'm fit, he might see it as a test. And Brian Clough is wanting a yes from him. Okay, I don't know, but you obviously work with him and know him way better than any of us. But if a player said, yes, I'm fit to play, and then breaks down after 60 seconds, what happens then? He finishes the 90 minutes. However he has to do it, you finish the 90 minutes and you come in the dressing room. Because he'll say, you told me you were fit, son. Simple as that. You're either fit or you're not fit. The physios can give you a guide. You know your own body. I think it's a fair question. And quite often when he asks a question, he got the answer that he wanted. Yes, I'm fit, boss. And every player knew you never come off. Even if you're injured and break down, you carry on and finish the game. Yeah, interesting. I'm intrigued as to the sides that are picked tomorrow. West Ham Leeds, I hope they're really strong. That's live on Talksport. It's a 4:30 kickoff. An Easter Monday. Love the Easter period. We had around the grounds yesterday, Good Friday. There were goals flying in that meant so much. Even late in the day meant so much. A late goal meant that Truro were relegated in the National League yesterday. 94th minute goal. Lincoln with a late winner, and they're as good as promoted given their goal difference. But that may well be confirmed on Monday at Reading, and the show comes from Reading Lincoln and the Lincoln promotion party on Monday afternoon. Before that, you can join me at midday because we've got Portsmouth Oxford live and exclusive on Talksport, a game that will be big in terms of the relegation picture at the bottom of the Championship. And then I'm taking you around the grounds, all the goals as they go in through till 5:30. 5:30 on Talksport 2, it's Swansea Middlesbrough. That's after commentary of Ipswich Birmingham on Talksport 2. Ipswich with a bit of catching up to do at the top of the Championship. Middlesbrough lost to Millwall yesterday. Borough 220 days in the top two, and they're now third after Millwall came from behind for the win with both goals from their former player Josh Coburn. Amazing stories all across the EFL and the National League. That's why we take you around the grounds, all the goals as they go in Monday afternoon on Talksport. And then on Monday night, the leaders Coventry, they look set for the Premier League. That looks ever likely to happen under Frank Lampard, and they play some great stuff as well. Coventry go to playoff chasing Hull City. That's on Monday evening, is live and exclusive on Talksport. And Tuesday, Arsenal away to Sporting in the Champions League quarter-final first leg, live on Talksport. Wrexham Southampton is a big game in terms of the playoff picture in the Championship. That is live on Talksport 2 on Tuesday night. And on Wednesday, PSG Liverpool. Myself, Jim Stewart, will be heading off to Paris for that Champions League quarter-final first leg Wednesday night on Talksport. Villa on Talksport in the Europa League on Thursday. Forest also in the Europa League away to Porto. That on Talksport 2. And then a return to the Premier League Friday. West Ham take on Wolves. Liverpool have been out for a couple of minutes already. Out comes Erling Haaland, trotting onto the pitch, crossing the white line. His 2 goals mean Manchester City are totally in command of this FA Cup quarter-final, live and exclusive and only on Talksport. It's Manchester City 2, Liverpool 0
Haaland heading for a hat-trick. City heading for the semi-finals of the FA Cup and heading for Wembley. Second half with Stuart Pearce and Jim Proudfoot.
Manchester City have blown a 2-0 lead once this season. They did so at Spurs in a game that ended up in a draw. This one is a draw after 90 minutes. We will go to extra time and then penalties if necessary. So Liverpool will feel that they're not out of it. They haven't made any changes at half-time. They were set out slightly early for the second half and then made to wait by Manchester City. They've got a quick free kick. We're back underway. Liverpool in all red, kicking from left to right towards the south stand that houses the 7,000 travelling supporters. Manchester City in possession. Their light blue shirts with the white sash, white shorts, kicking from right to left. And in possession with Kusanov, finding Bernardo Silva. Bernardo laying it back for Rodri. And Nunes goes back for his goalkeeper Trafford, who's got Nunes, Kusanov, Gahey and O'Reilly in front of him. And then Rodri and Silva, then Semenyo, Cherki, Doku and Haaland up front. Liverpool playing Mamardashvili in goal, Gomez, Kanate, Van Dijk and Kerkez. And then Gravenberch in midfield with Jones, Soboslai and Wirtz ahead of them. And Salah and Ekitike ahead of them, but very wide as split strikers. Wide split strikers in a 4-2-2-2 formation. We're 90 seconds into the second half here on Talksport and across North America as well. A very good morning to you if you're listening on Sirius XM-FC in Canada or the States. Here's Rodri coming forward towards the edge of the centre circle and just had his pocket picked there by Florian Wirtz. Jones gets it forward. Salah, Gomez making a good early run down the right-hand side, might get to it. O'Reilly comes back, got the first touch and was fouled by Gomez in the process. Just as Liverpool thought they had their first corner of the day, it's a free kick to City inside their own half. No half-time changes here, of course. Stuart Pearce.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's a free kick personally. I think O'Reilly's got there first. He's popped the ball out for a corner and just theatrically threw himself up in the air, and I think Slot was not particularly pleased with it either. I think if you're a young midfield footballer, as in really young, that's starting the game, how do I play the game? Just look at Bernardo Silva's ability to show again. He plays the ball and he creates space. He goes to receive it. He's always available to receive. Just an incredible player to watch.
Now he's going to be a miss when he leaves here. He has possession now, just outside the centre circle. Drags it away from Ugo Ekitike. Back from him to Rodri. Kusanov picking it up. Now he'll come forward. And then go back for Rodri again. It's all relatively easy possession, despite the fact that Ekitike and Wirtz doing their best to put the pressure on the man in light blue that's got the ball at his feet. It's Bernardo Silva, an easy pass from him out to the right-hand side for Cherki. And now Nunes, Silva, and to Rodri.
Liverpool got to do something to break this stranglehold that Manchester City look as though they've got on the game. End of the first half, start of the second half. They're dictating the tempo of the game, and Liverpool don't look as though they know how to press, and they're looking at each other, and it's too easy for City.
Bernardo Silva, and
there's the first.
Yep, his worst pass of the day. He scooped it with the outside of his right boot, straight out of play past Doku for a Liverpool throw, which they'll take on this near side. They have scored in 16 of the last 17 games, Liverpool, the exception being the first leg Champions League defeat at Galatasaray that they comfortably overturned at Anfield. So City would have come into this expecting that they probably were going to have to score 2 to win, but they've done it before half-time with that Erling Haaland brace. And they're in again here with Semenyo! 3-0! And that'll be that! Little reverse ball. Semenyo making the run in behind the Liverpool back line. And he had time to draw Mamardashvili and flick it with the outside of his right boot into the inside right side netting. 3 minutes into the second half, Liverpool's last remaining hopes have gone west. Manchester City 3 up, and they will be in an 8th successive FA Cup semi-final.
Liverpool were looking absolutely shell-shocked at this moment in time. They had the possession from a throw-in, lost it, and the pass and the movement was magnificent. by Shirky and Semenyo. A wonderful finish, and City are putting on a virtuoso performance now.
Well, City beat Liverpool 3-0 here when the Tides last met in the Premier League. Haaland had got them off and running that day, and Haaland's broken the deadlock today. It's 3-0, just 3.5 minutes into the second half. And Liverpool at the moment with no sign of a response. I mean, they've been unpicked 3 times in 10 minutes of football either side of half-time. They've got a massive game coming up on Wednesday, which is now their season, effectively. I mean, don't get me wrong, they've got to make sure they finish in the top 5 of the Premier League to get a Champions League place as well. But that game at the Parc des Princes is now their only remaining hope of silverware, seemingly. So at what stage does Arne Slot go, OK, we'll give this one up as a bad job and concentrate on that? 3-0, Liverpool trailing here.
Well, I would think more's the point. I'm surprised at half-time he didn't make the odd change. We talked about maybe, changing Gomez.
Salah is in, and it's a good save. Knocked away by Trafford. Salah, right-hand side of the penalty area, went for the far post across the goalkeeper. Trafford got a hand to it, and it wasn't a Liverpool player that was following up. Gomez plays his latest one in. It's over everybody. Nunes couldn't get it away. Ekitike will pick it up, but in a wide position on the Liverpool left. Back from Van Dijk. Van Dijk to Konate. To Jones on his right-hand side. Jones now down towards Joe Gomez again. Jones trying to bring the ball back inside. Finding Salah. Gomez. Salah stretching out a left foot. Can't get there. City will be able to bring it away with Haaland. Good pirouette from him away from Gomez. Liverpool have still got 6 back behind the ball, but they haven't got the ball, and Cherki's just glided his way past Soboslai and then Kirkes. He's got Semenyo in the middle, and he's played it into him now. Semenyo just lost his balance as he tried to bring the ball into his stride. Mamadashvili comes out and claims it. 3-0.
You and I are a little bit surprised maybe at half-time that rather than giving the game up, I would have thought making a couple of subs to chase it. A couple of the youngsters maybe need to get Szoboszlai further up the pitch and not doing these defensive roles, helping out Gomez.
And City rampant, coming forward again with Rodri. Haaland had made an early run. That's created space for Cherki. Couple of step overs from him. Left-footed ball scooped in over the top of the Liverpool back line, but Jones read that, did really well, came back, cushions a header. Back for Mamadashvili. That was like the scooped pass. Remember the Poborski goal at Villa Park against, I think it was Denmark back in the Euros 30 years ago. A ridiculously exaggerated chip. Quite brilliant finish. It was Cherki, put so much air underneath that to drop it over the top. And Liverpool are able to bring it away. Against the Portuguese, sorry, not the Danes. The ball be brought forward again by Bernardo Silva. And now the goalkeeper's off his line. And he's just back. Mamadashvili sprinted back. Semenyo was 70 yards away. Barely inside the centre circle. And he's lofted it towards goal. And Mamadashvili did have it covered. Well, it looks as though it's going to be a close run thing. Now Liverpool work it forward at the other end. And out comes Trafford and heads it away from Salah for a Liverpool throw. It's 3-0 City.
Well, we've had speculation that Pep might leave. This is the first time we've seen that technical area without him, and they're doing okay. Albeit he's got his hand on the tiller upstairs.
God, not much. Yeah, still very much fully in control of the sat-nav as well. Not just the tiller. He's pointing them in the right direction and steering the ship. This is the kind of performance that would make him think, oh, do you know what? Quite enjoying this. Stay for another year. See my contract out. Back from Salah. Szoboszlai. Now to the left for Virgil van Dijk. For Milos Kerkez. Kerkez to Wirtz. Knocked away by Semenyo. Back in again towards Ryan Gravenberch. Szoboszlai lets it run, and Salah. Well, it's a snapshot. He's put it high and wide. He had to go first time. Well, the top left-hand corner was inviting, but he's missed it by some distance.
I've got to say, that's not an easy finish. Great setup of a pass. Not easy, but a player of his standard, I think there's an expectation you hit the target there. And Liverpool have had a couple of decent chances in this game.
Pep has had this habit throughout his Manchester City career. And I know it's an analogy we've talked about before, but if you liken it to horse racing, he's had the ability to be able to present the horse at the right time coming up the straight when he's hitting the 1-2 furlong pole, knowing that they're going to be able to time their run to perfection. They almost always have picked up more points in the second half of a season than the first. Invariably in recent times they've picked up more points in the last third of the season than at any other stage of the season, and it looks as though he's doing it again here. 8 games to go in the Premier League. Maybe another 2 in the FA Cup after today. It looks as though there's going to be at least another 1. And all the pressure is on us. There's no pressure on Manchester City in the Premier League. Here's O'Reilly. It's gone back for Gahey. Towards Rodri. I mean, don't get me wrong, they've really got their work cut out in the Premier League, but if they play like this week in, week out, they will give themselves a chance.
You think the Premier League's still too far for them? Or
I'm not seeing Arsenal winning it by 10 points as some others would, certainly. But Rodri, 4 for Bernardo Silva. Here's O'Reilly down to the City left-hand side for Doku. Doku coming inside, he's found O'Reilly, the angle is tight, he's knocked it square, and Haaland has a hat-trick. Liverpool are being utterly dismantled. Erling Haaland with yet another hat-trick, his 12th in Manchester City colours. Brilliant pass for Nico O'Reilly, and then he had the presence of mind to knock it square. Haaland coming into it, whacked it off the underside of the bar, and Manchester City lead by 4-0. It's 4 in 17 minutes either side of half-time. Haaland with a hat-trick. City in the semis.
Yeah, absolutely magnificent play there. City have played straight through that central midfield press. Once they do that, they got runners ahead of them, and it was just an absolute brilliant setup. Liverpool got to do better than that. Runners running in behind them. Haaland, wonderful finish. And I tell you what, I always look at the team that have just conceded at that moment. Van Dijk and Szoboszlai are having a go at each other about who's pressing who, and then Szoboszlai's looking over at the technical area, his management gesturing, and that doesn't bode well, not just for today, but certainly Wednesday and onwards.
Now from the kick-off, Liverpool lose possession. Van Dijk gets it back. All he has done is put his foot through it to get it out of harm's way. City fans over on the far side doing the Poznan. And this has been a fierce rivalry for years, but particularly the last 10, it's really intensified. And this is a famous, famous day for Manchester City and a chastening afternoon for Liverpool. Salah trying to play it forward at the other end, and it's just taken a little ricochet and almost goes over the head of James Trafford. They're Poznaning all around us.
Well, I'll tell you what, this is turning into a special, special day for Manchester City Football Club. It won't win them a trophy today, but the performance has been absolutely incredible. A backup silverware of a couple of weeks ago.
I mean, what a fortnight they've had. Outsiders at Wembley, and they saw off Arsenal. Favourites for this one against Liverpool, but they are blowing them away. 4-0 inside an hour. Liverpool bringing forward with Wirtz. O'Reilly steers the header away. We're going to see Savinho come on in a moment for Manchester City. Salah's laid it back here. Szoboszlai to Curtis Jones. Jones coming forward towards the edge of the penalty area. Salah thwarted by O'Reilly. Jones has done really well to win it back. Salah dragging it back inside the penalty area, trying to turn one way and then the other, and he's done brilliantly to retain possession there. But there were 3 players blocking the cross. There's just no chance of being able to get it past them. Great approach play by Salah, but unrewarded. Now City playing through the Liverpool press, still inside their own penalty area. Szoboszlai trying to win it back from Ryan Cherki. Cherki taking it right down to the byline and then just knocking it away from Szoboszlai. Kusanov clips it out of the left-hand side for Bernardo Silva. All of a sudden, they found something. It's like they flicked a switch. And Manchester City are back playing peak Pep football again.
It's a special performance today. It's one of City's... And we've seen many, many performances that have wowed us over the years. Today is one of them. When you consider... And Liverpool, I tell you what, they've given the ghost up. Honestly, they have given the ghost up at the moment. The despondency of their players, you can see it in the body language.
Well, they were excellent for half an hour. They have been abysmal for the last half an hour. Lost their way. Could have been different. Ekitike with an effort that might have gone in at 0-0. Salah with a couple of efforts. But it's Manchester City with the Olays out barely an hour into the game. And it just puts even more pressure on Liverpool's trip to the French capital on Wednesday night. We will be there at the Parc des Princes for PSG against Liverpool in the Champions League quarter-final first leg. It will be live on Talksport. Haaland's been fouled by Konate. So, changes all round. City are going to make a double change. Doku's coming off and Savinho is going to come on for him. Nico Gonzalez is also going to be introduced, and you would imagine it'll be Rodri that will make way. It is indeed. Liverpool, Jeremy Frimpong is going to come on, and Joe Gomez makes his way off the field.
Yeah, this was a substitution. I thought they should have made it half-time, Liverpool, to be fair, bringing Frimpong on for Gomez, and just say, well, listen, let's have a go for it, you know what I mean? If we concede a couple, so be it. City, couple of changes here, shouldn't change too much in regard to the shape of what they're doing, but they'll be delighted just to see the game out with possession football.
4-0 they lead. And this long winning run that they've had here at the Etihad in the FA Cup, this will be an 18th straight win on this ground, a run that goes back 11 years. They have conceded 6, I beg your pardon. They've conceded 6. They've now scored 81 in those 18 wins. There's 18 wins, and they've averaged 4.5 goals a game in the process. It's mind-blowing. Here's Bernardo Silva. Each of the last 5 FA Cup defeats they've had have been at Wembley. Kusanov getting the ball forward. Cherki flicking it on. Konate sliding in, getting there ahead of Haaland. Oh, Haaland might have been able to carry on his run, and Semenyo scooped it out of his way. Liverpool will bring it forward now. Beneficiaries of that. Wirtz out towards Ekitike. Ekitike going down inside the penalty area. And what's the decision from the referee here? Has he given the penalty to Liverpool?
I think he's given the penalty. Yep.
Not even a cheer from the Liverpool end, which is thinner now than it previously was, but it is a penalty which will be taken by Liverpool, and Mo Salah has the ball on the spot.
I've got to say, if it wasn't 4-1, I think there would have been a few more protests from the City defenders for that penalty, but 4-0, so gives I wouldn't say a lifeline, but an element of respectability to the scoreline.
So Mo Salah with the opportunity to become the first Liverpool player to score in 4 successive FA Cup appearances since Emil Heskey 25 years ago. And he stands hands on hips, shuffles out to the right hand side, comes up, hits it left, but it's saved by James Trafford. Back in by Szoboszlai. City will clear the ultimate ignominy on a horrendous Liverpudlian afternoon.
Well, put it this way, if you're going to draw a line under a poor performance, then that's how to do it. Incredible. But credit to Trafford, he's had a wonderful few days as well, playing for his country. And this performance today with a penalty save has been pretty solid.
Well, he missed the penalty against Galatasaray earlier this season. He's missed the second of the campaigns, the third Liverpool penalty to be missed this season. 4-0 it remains in Manchester City's favour. Salah has it again. A little nutmeg of Mark Gahey trying to thread the ball through for Jeremy Frimpong. Out comes Trafford and bowls it out towards the right hand side now. And Manchester City will push forward with real pace. Savinho to Cherky. Savinho continuing his run, trying to get round Kirkes. He's gone to ground and has the free kick about 15 yards from the corner flag. 4-0.
Keep your eye on Van Dijk at the moment. I think he's half lost his head with the rest of his teammates. He's driving into midfield trying to get a press on, and I think he's just totally frustrated that the rest of his team have decided not to press or whatever, and decided to try and get an influence on the game in some way, shape or form.
Well, a yellow card was shown, I think, to Milos Kerkez for the foul. Liverpool will be making a triple change in a moment, but only after they defended this set piece. City coming forward looking for a fifth. Ball laid back on the edge of the box, left-footed effort, and it's straight at Mamardashvili. It was very well struck, but Bernardo Silva couldn't get it past him. Mamardashvili just patting the ball down, finding Konate. Konate in the sunshine, plays the ball into the shadow here at the Etihad, the shadow from this imposing main stand. Gravenberch just got caught there by Nico Gonzalez. Now Van Dijk, back to Konate. Going to see Gakpo, Rio Ngamoa and Alexis McAllister. It's the Liverpool three that will be coming on. They will still have one further change left after they've arrived. Gravenberch pulled back, and Bernardo Silva gets a yellow card for an earlier indiscretion. So a triple change to be made here by Liverpool. Gravenberch coming off, Alexis McAllister coming on for him. So Gravenberch will be such an integral figure. Live on Talksport at the Parc des Princes on Wednesday. No surprise that he's getting a few extra minutes off. We're also going to see Wirtz and Ekitike, I think. Wirtz's number has come up. Ekitike's also made his way over towards the near touchline, so seemingly he's been given the nod that he's going to be coming off. Ekitike and Wirtz both replaced. But just cast our minds back 45 minutes. You were purring about the combination between those two. The opening half hour, this could have been a very different story today, and those two were front and centre in there.
Yep, I thought they were outstanding for 30 minutes. They really were, but obviously goals change games, and the confidence has just been sapped out of Liverpool the longer this game's gone on. And I've got to say, there's a few players in their ranks that have given the ghost up, I've got to say, and now the substitutions. I think at half-time, a couple of substitutions to chase the game would have been the order of the day.
So first opportunity for the youngster Rio Ngamoa. Back from him to Curtis Jones. Down towards Jeremy Frimpong. And Frimpong taking on O'Reilly, who's shuffling back with him. Frimpong has done well to dig that across towards the far post, and Kirkes attacking it. It's headed away and put behind by Nunes for a corner, which is Liverpool's first of the day. You're listening to FA Cup Game Day on Talksport with McDonald's. Order delivery on the McDonald's app from 11 a.m, 18 plus. Fees apply to delivery orders, subject to availability. Price may vary. Phil Foden being called back, and he may well be on in a moment as the corner comes in. Liverpool's first of the day, headed away by Haaland at the near post. Played out towards the right-hand side. Savinho's going to get there ahead of Milos Kerkez and then toes it down the touchline and will chase after it and gets there first. Haaland continuing his run forward. Konate headed the cross away. Frimpong caught in two minds for a moment, had time to adjust and volleys it clear. Picked up then in the midfield by Nico Gonzalez. Soboslai first to it though, battling with Savinho, and he's won a throw. Now, Stuart, I don't want to put words in your mouth at all, but just clarification on the last point you made about a few players giving up the ghost. Do you feel that there are players that are letting themselves down there, or is that too strong?
Well, almost given up on the game. They've given up on the game a little bit, and you've got to find something inside you that says, you know what, I've got to turn things round individually for the sake of the team. And too many players, I think, were just looking at each other at that stage and saying, well, you know, it's not my fault, and maybe one or two of them are looking at the technical area, passing the blame onto their manager.
Well, the crowd suggesting that Arne Slot's job prospects aren't quite as secure as he would like. suggesting he's getting sacked in the morning. It's difficult from this position to judge where that chorus is coming from, whether it is City fans alone. City will make a double change here, and we're going to see Cherky come off. Reinders on for him, and Phil Foden is going to get some minutes as well. Cherky's been excellent today.
Oh, yes. There's a real arrogance about his football. I thought he overstepped the mark at Wembley with his keepsy-upsies. No need for that. But he's got the balance brilliantly right today. He's been outstanding. He's a special talent, no doubt about that. And the away end now, we've certainly not got the numbers in it that it had at the start of the game, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's been flamboyant with a purpose today. Semenyo coming off as well. Phil Foden on for him for the final 20 minutes. It's 4-0 to Manchester City, and Mo Salah seen a penalty saved. Had the chance to get it back to 4-1 Liverpool. 4 goals, including a hat-trick from Haaland in an 18-minute spell. Here's Rio Ngamoa. Back to Curtis Jones. To McAllister. Van Dijk has it. Played forward by him. Now to the Liverpool left. Salah waiting by the penalty spot. The ball has sailed over him. Foden just chests it down. O'Reilly behind him will have time to take a touch and then clear left-footed. Straight out of play for a throw that is going to be taken on the Liverpool right. Again, plenty more questions. As far as Liverpool are concerned, this is going to be their 4th away defeat in 5 in League and Cup. It will be their 10th away defeat of the season in all competitions. There haven't been many times in the recent past, in our lifetimes really, where they've lost as many games away from home as they've won in League and Cup. Here's Rio Ngamoa. Nice little step over from him as he makes his way down towards the right-hand side, finds Jeremy Frimpong. Jones in support for Frimpong. Jones will play it back here for the shaven-headed McAllister. Played by him to Virgil van Dijk and back out towards the Liverpool left-hand side for Cody Gakpo, whose international teammate Van Dijk is still showing for it. McAllister's got it. Kanate can come forward. Down for Rio Ngamoa. Right-hand side of the penalty area, and he wins a corner off Foden, which will be taken on the Liverpool right. The 18 minutes to go. Later, Chelsea Port Vale at 5:15. Southampton Arsenal at 8. Tomorrow, 4:30 kickoff for West Ham Leeds. They're all live on Talksport, the only station bringing you every kick of all 4 FA Cup quarterfinals this weekend, including this one, which Liverpool trail 4-0 ahead of this, their second corner of the day. In from Salah, very deep. Van Dijk got his head to it, off balance, has been able to steer it back into the fray, but Gahey cleared. Now Milos Kerkez heads it out towards the left-hand side for Liverpool to run round it and bring it back forward again with Alexis McAllister. 4-0.
Yeah, Liverpool just having a bit of ascendancy in the game, but I've got to say, when I got in my car today to come to this game, I didn't expect to see a scoreline anywhere near like this. I thought it would be a really tight affair, and it certainly was for 30 minutes, Jim.
Yep, the opening 30 minutes, there were plenty of positives for Liverpool. There haven't been many since. Haaland getting it forward here. Reinders trying to outpace Kanate, and he did well. Little Kanate to get in between Reinders and the ball and then just protect it and allow Mamadashvili to come out and play. Liverpool then get it forward as quickly as they can, but with no accuracy, and City have a throw midway inside their own half.
Yeah, as I say, Van Dijk now cutting a figure of an individual of frustration and an individual that's trying to inspire his team.
Gakpo down to the right-hand side. Rio Ngamoa taking on O'Reilly, and was there a double ricochet? There was. Hit it into O'Reilly. It's clattered back into the 17-year-old. And out of play for a goal kick. City have got one change left. Omar Mamouche is the man that we're going to see very shortly. Well, the last time these two met in the FA Cup quarter-final, it finished 4-0 at Main Road to Liverpool. The game we were talking about earlier, Ray Houghton starting the scoring that day. A comprehensive victory for Liverpool. City, a second division team at the time. This is going to be the first time that they've beaten Liverpool in the FA Cup since 1973. It's Szoboszlai back for Alexis McAllister. It's also going to be the first time that they've beaten Liverpool 3 times in a row since 1937. First time they'll have beaten Liverpool 3 times in the same season ever. McAllister from distance, pinging one in, good save. Trafford diving to his left-hand side. Good soft hands as well to make sure that the ball didn't go too far away from him, and that allowed Gahey to be able to clear. And his clearance is picked up in the midfield by Reinders, who's now got 4 ahead of him. And Savinho on the left, Foden on the right. Haaland hoping for a 4th goal, still making his way forward to the edge of the D. He got 5 in an FA Cup tie at Luton a few years back, live on Talksport, you'll remember. He's 12 in 12 FA Cup ties in his career now. City have it again on the right-hand side with Foden.
City have made all these substitutions, and Bernardo Silva's still on the pitch, still running around, still cajoling his teammates. Quite incredible for me, that is. And that tells you something about Pep and how the esteem that he holds this player in for me.
Well, McAllister fouled, changes to be made. First of all, it's going to be a standing ovation for Erling Haaland, who will leave the field. Job done again. Hat-trick from him. Superb penalty 6 minutes before half-time. Wonderful header from a beautiful cross from Antoine Semenyo. And then a clever pullback from Nico O'Reilly. Saw him thump one off the underside of the bar. Yet another Erling Haaland hat-trick. He's only 25, the 28th hat-trick of his career. Liverpool will make a change, and Chiesa is coming on to replace Mo Salah.
Yeah, as I say, 2 players, two of the threats in each of the teams there. Haaland coming off having got a hat-trick, and Salah coming off, well, really had good opportunities in the first half potentially, and then a missed penalty, and he'll be snake's belly. And Liverpool as a football club have got to lift themselves now, and it's not going to be easy with a massive European games coming up over the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, they're at the Parc des Princes Wednesday night. We'll be there. Live on Talksport Tuesday, Arsenal at Sporting Lisbon, and we'll bring you commentary from that game as well. Coverage of all 4 Champions League quarterfinals on the Talksport network. As Virgil van Dijk has the ball at his feet for Liverpool, cutting a very disconsolate and irate figure for the last 45 minutes or so. Konate down to Jeremy Frimpong. Frimpong for Szoboszlai. Szoboszlai is turning away from Omar Mamouche to find McAllister. 12 minutes left. Van Dijk. McAllister looks as though he's having his shirt pulled there by Marmouche. The referee allowing play to go on. Foden's got the ball at his feet for City. Has worked it back. Bernardo Silva to Gahey. Gahey getting it forward, and all of a sudden they got past McAllister with ease. He's only just come on, and he's just jogging back. The ball played for Van Dijk across to cover the run of Marmouche, and it's side-footed out of play for a throw. That was far too easy for Manchester City in transition then, Stuart Pearce.
Yeah, it certainly was. As I say, what they're good at, they turn the ball over, and these little intricate passes, bounce passes, gets them out, and then all of a sudden they see daylight and off they go after the opposition's goal.
Here they come again. Savinho, 2 yards in from the Manchester City left. Play back towards Bernardo Silva. 450th Manchester City appearance today, still looking remarkably fresh. Remarkably fresh for 450 games, remarkably fresh for being the 80th minute of it. And Liverpool win possession back and get it forward for Dominic Szoboszlai. Szoboszlai in behind Chiesa, who was offside. Frimpong certainly wasn't, and Liverpool are able to bring it forward. O'Reilly backing off almost deferentially for a moment. Frimpong lays the ball back for Alexis McAllister. Konate coming onto it, slips it to his left for Kerkez. Kerkez plays it down the Liverpool left for Ngamoa. McAllister showing for the return ball, didn't get it, and Phil Foden will be able to bring it away. What would set the seal on the Manchester City victory is a goal for Phil Foden. They would absolutely love that here Opportunity for Phil to play his way back into form, but a free kick's been given Liverpool's way, 20 yards inside the Manchester City half. They brought 7,000 in Liverpool in fine voice for the opening half hour. Not all 7,000 are still here. City fans have had the opportunity to ask those that have remained why they're still here, and did so in song a few moments ago. Szoboszlai hitting in this free kick, right footed, headed on towards goal by Cody Gakpo. Trafford came out and caught it, offside flag up anyway. And Manchester City able to play on and get it out with Nunes for Foden, but cut out, and Liverpool have it back on their left-hand side. 10 to go, and it's 4-0 for Manchester City. You will have been in this position, I'm sure, Stuart, not many times, but the Liverpool players won't have been in it many times. How do you keep going and put personal pride to the fore for the minutes that remain when you're on the end of a heavy defeat like this?
As much as I don't like to say it, Jim, normally you take your physical frustration out on one of the opposition players, you know. That is, this day and age, you can't do that. But listen, we've all been, there's not a player at any level of football you play long enough hasn't been on the end of a good dipping by somebody, and you just have to get through it and get over it.
And Gamoa playing it in here. Gakpo, the target, it was headed away before it got there. Back from Konate for Virgil van Dijk. 81 gone. Manchester City 4, Liverpool 0. 0-0 5 minutes before half time. 4-0 3 minutes before the hour mark.
And the other side of that is, Jim, the next game up is your focus, and it's against European champions.
And Gamoa, well tackled by O'Reilly. Certainly been games since coming on in Gamoa. You wouldn't expect anything else. And play with a great future ahead of him. Here's Reinders, though. Tijani Reinders working it out towards the right-hand side for Phil Foden. Foden bringing it forward for Manchester City. Sun just resting behind a cloud at the moment as City bring it forward. A massive cloud hanging over Liverpool with this performance. Certainly the last 50 minutes of it. First half hour, there were positives. There were things that they would believe that they could build upon. But as soon as they went 1-0 down, it unravelled pretty quickly. And that will be frightening for Arne Slot. Free kick here to City inside the centre circle. It's been over as a contest for a good 40 minutes or so now. Both sides are just almost playing out their contractual obligations. Kusanov down for Margehi. Gehi infield for Savinho. Szoboszlai coming back to win it back, and then Frimpong will find his goalkeeper Mamadashvili. 4-0.
Yeah, it's interesting, you know, from Liverpool's point of view, one of the few teams, English teams left in the European Champions League at the moment, and to be honest with you, they've got to turn this round. Psychologically, they've got to turn it round very, very quickly. It'll be interesting to see the performance that we see on Wednesday evening with them.
Yeah, that game kicking off at 8 o'clock, build up from 7 in the southwestern quarter of the French capital. Ball with Phil Foden. And Foden lays it back for Mateus Nunes. Happy to work it inside his penalty area for Kusanov, who really has come on leaps and bounds. Nico Gonzalez out to Foden. Savinho making an early run. Konate tried to get him offside, but Frimpong stayed in. They then had two players making their way through the middle, Manchester City. But neither Reinders nor Marmoush could be found by the pass. That was just another example of it all going wrong and unravelling very quickly. The defence at cross purposes as Konate stepped up and Frimpong dropped back.
Yeah, the movement of City running beyond has been absolutely superb this afternoon. Passing ability, weight of pass and timing has been excellent.
Frimpong for Ngamoa. Wirtz. Jeremy Frimpong with a couple of step overs. O'Reilly doesn't dive in. He's more than happy just to take a watching brief and wait for the attacking player to commit himself rather than him being the first to try and force the attacker's hand. Cody Gakpo back for Dominic Szoboszlai. Work forward again. Chiesa into space. Gakpo trying to get there. He came across to get it away. Protecting the clean sheet at all costs here with 5 minutes to go. Alexis McAllister has it again now. Konate. Down on the right-hand side for Jeremy Frimpong. Frimpong again. Can't find a way past O'Reilly, who just stood his ground. And then City will try and break quickly with the pace of Savinho. Up against Ngamoa, and he ran out of room as he took him on down the left-hand touchline. The corridor that he was trying to play with became narrower and narrower until eventually it went over the line and out of play for a Liverpool throw.
Yeah, it's a possession game, really. It should be at the moment for City, and Liverpool still prodding away. They need something out of the game, a goal or something, but doesn't look forthcoming.
Have one on each of the last 4 occasions the two sides have met in the FA Cup. They did the double over Liverpool last season, winning 2-0 here. Over City last season, I beg your pardon, winning 2-0 here. Now this, as I mentioned earlier, but the first time that City have ever beaten Liverpool 3 times in the same season. Konate down towards the Liverpool right-hand side for number 73, Rio Ngamoa. Back from Konate, McAllister to Van Dijk. 4 minutes to go here on Talksport and on Sirius XM FC in North America. Milos Kerkez, 10 yards outside the box. Van Dijk behind him. McAllister again coming onto it. Can't get into a shooting position. It's a quick ball down towards Ngamoa. Ngamoa's been trusted with it on several occasions since coming on. He's been the Liverpool attacker that's seen more of the ball than anybody else since his arrival.
Yeah, both him and Frimpong want to go on the outside of O'Reilly, and he's worked that out, and he's just stopped him going on the outside, or said, well, go on, knock it, and I've covered your run, and that's been a problem. They're going to have to dart inside and mix it up a bit.
Now Szoboszlai's lost possession. He thought he was fouled. That is a foul by the retreating Konate that will earn him a yellow card. He's stopped Savinho in his tracks. And a free kick to Manchester City. Savinho lying on his back with his face in his hands just for a moment. He's okay. He's going to be back on his feet in a moment. But Konate is in the book for the 8th time this season. 4-0 with 3 minutes to go.
Yeah. Just out of interest for everyone, Jim, when's the draw for the next round?
That is a very good question.
That's why I asked it.
Yeah, and you are absolutely full of good questions.
So if you don't know the answer to that, but you know that Clapham were the last team to go 18 games, is quite incredible.
Yeah, thank you. I'll take quite incredible as a line on the CV. It's going to be, I don't know, because I didn't know whether it was going to be 12 or 15 minutes after the full-time whistle on Sunday, the West Ham Leeds game. Apparently it's 15, so there you go, there's your answer.
I knew you would give me clarity and not a ballpark figure.
Yeah, a quarter of an hour after the full-time whistle on Sunday. So that's going to be round about 6:45 if it doesn't go to extra time. It will be live on Talksport. You'll hear who gets who. Manchester City will be in that draw. Chelsea, Port Vale, Southampton and Arsenal will all hope to be in the draw as well. West Ham or Leeds facing up tomorrow, and we've got all of the games live on the Talksport network. I can't believe you're asking a Torquay fan when the draw for an FA Cup semi-final is going to be. I mean, that really is irony in the extreme. 3rd qualifying round, maybe. Jones out of the Liverpool left. 90 seconds to go. 4-0. Here's Konate. Liverpool just hoping for something to try and save face. Szoboszlai playing the ball in here through a dangerous area. Slight breakdown in communication at the back. Kusanov taking a wild hack at it, and in the end, in doing so, just stuck it high up in the air, and Trafford could come out and catch it, because there's no way that was a back pass. Trafford then bowling it out quickly, getting it out towards the right-hand side, and it's out for a throw that will be taken on the Manchester City right. 4-0. It would have felt strange for Pep not being down part of it at the edge of the technical area, but he will have loved what he's seen from up high. Ngamoa now for Liverpool, turning inside the penalty area, onto his left foot, dragged it back onto his right, still couldn't get the shot in. Good strength from Reinders to force it away. Now they'll be able to break quickly, potentially with Marmoush. Reinders showing him where he wanted the ball to be played. Nico Gonzalez couldn't get on the end of a squarer pass than the one that Marmoush wanted. And as a result of that, Liverpool quickly have it back again with Curtis Jones. 20 seconds to go, plus stoppage time. You would imagine, under the circumstances, there won't be much of that. Kirkes, out of the left. 23rd Wembley appearance under Pep Guardiola incoming. Here's McAllister. Down to the Liverpool right for Jeremy Frimpong. Frimpong sending a high ball in that's bypassed everybody and gone out of play. And the referee says no need for any stoppage time. It is a 4-0 victory for Manchester City. And that is as comprehensive and conclusive as they come. In the first half hour, Liverpool were really good. Couldn't find a way through. In the last half hour, they were desperately poor. And Manchester City sliced them apart 4 times in 18 minutes to make it through to a record 8th successive FA Cup semi-final. More records broken along the way as well. A hat-trick from Erling Haaland. City eyeing a 4th successive FA Cup final. They're only 90 minutes away from that. But Liverpool, eyeing the wreckage of their season, know just how important the trip to the Parc des Princes will be now. It's not the defeat, it's not the cup elimination, it is the manner of it that will concern everybody associated with Liverpool Football Club. A terrible day at the office. Manchester City 4, Liverpool 0.
Yeah, you look at Arne Slot and you're thinking, what next? Well, next it's to Paris and the home of the European champions, live on Talksport on Wednesday. And that becomes even bigger. And the two top tiers away to my right, which were full of Liverpool fans, are now sparse of Scousers. And opposite them, they could see a couple of banners that have been unfurled. Wembley again, Alea, 23rd trip to Wembley for Pep's Man City. They could face Port Vale, or it could be Arsenal, or the team Erling Haaland supports, Leeds United. The draw, as Jim was saying, 15 minutes after full time of the final quarter-final. West Ham Leeds tomorrow live on Talksport, and that draw will be done by Talksport legend Ali McCoist. The Liverpool players have gone over to salute their fans. Very few of them have stayed, and you can understand why. They barely put up any resistance in that second half. Virgil van Dijk out there, he almost lost his head in that second half. In fact, he did well. Best thing he did all game was not losing his head and getting sent off, and it seemed like it was quite an effort for him. But celebrations for Manchester City as their players salute the fans, and I think the fans have had a great time here this afternoon. They've thoroughly enjoyed this. At times it's been a tricky season for them. There's been some pretty awful results in Europe. They lost here at home to Spurs in the Premier League as well. But now they're doing a lap of honour, and the fans hanging around to pay tribute to one of the best performances they've ever had. Listen, it's Easter, and Manchester City have resurrected the beautiful game. In a season when set pieces have been king, when flowing football has taken a back seat to keepers pretending to be injured, to record-breaking, time-wasting tactics, long throws, and teams taking kick-offs by hoofing it high in the air, Manchester City have just reminded us how joyous football can be. Haaland's hat-trick sealed with a stunning passing move, slicing through the opponents. Nico O'Reilly, the architect. Ryan Cherky, so good to watch. It's like he's been sent this season to save football. He's a magic maverick, and his cute, clever pass set up Semenyo for a lovely goal. Start of the second half. And it wasn't just the goals. Semenyo tried to score from his own half. Cherky was unplayable at times, gliding past players like they don't exist. He was superb. City tick-attacker in their own box, under pressure from red shirts. They were just knocking it about, first time for fun. The crowd giving it the Olays well before the hour mark. The whole stadium doing the Poznan at one point. There was even time for England's James Trafford to save a penalty. Haaland and Salah were subbed off towards the end at the same time. Haaland with a hat-trick and a standing ovation. Salah with a catalogue of misses, and nobody really noticed. And in the end, we're left with Man City fans in the stands and Manchester City players taking the plaudits on the pitch, and they're thoroughly deserved as well. Stuart Pearce, that to me is one of the best performances I've seen anywhere this season. They absolutely tore Liverpool apart especially in the second half. It was a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, I would say that will be the case, certainly from probably about 30 minutes onwards. Liverpool played extremely well in the early stages of this game, but if you don't hit the goal and don't show an ascendancy in that, this is what can happen against a City team that know how to deal with a big occasion. And make no mistake, even from our point of view, what a big occasion this was. Quarter-final of the FA Cup, Manchester City, Liverpool, what a brilliant game. And City know how to deal with that. You know, they know how to get over it. They defended when they had to. They kept Liverpool at bay, and up the other end they forced mistakes where they had one penalty claim that was turned down, another one was given, and from that moment on City just grabbed the game by the scruff of the neck. What can you say about Ryan Cherky? I know you were not impressed with his keepy-uppies at Wembley, and I don't think Pep Guardiola was impressed either. Here he's been a true maverick. There was an arrogance about his play, and he'd earned the right to be arrogant with his play as well. It was a joy to watch. So many players seem to be quite robotic. You brought a special guest with you, Tony Smith. Me and him, rugby league coach, we were talking about mavericks in all sports before this game here today. Well, Ryan Cherky has shown us a maverick performance, and it got so maverick even after he went off. He and Ekitike swapped shirts on the benches, and Ryan Cherky tried to put Ekitike's shirt on. He was putting it on the wrong way round, by the way, French teammates, of course. He was putting it on the wrong way round. And somebody said to him, no, it's wrong way round. And then he flipped it around and they said, just don't put it on, mate, while you're on the bench, because the cameras will get it. Well, the cameras got him. I could see it from here as well. And that's how maverick he is. He kind of doesn't really care. And at times it can work against him, as it did at Wembley. But here today, that was virtuoso. That was a little bit special. It was bordering on 10 out of 10, wasn't it? Yeah, he was very, very good, I've got to say. He's got the ability to do something special, and you can see that in his play. He's got that arrogance on a football pitch, and he's another piece of the Pep jigsaw that makes him that little bit special. Stuart, stay with us. We've got full reflections to come because we need to talk about Liverpool as well. Get a quick word from Mickey Gray, who's going to go down to talk to the managers very shortly. Mickey, that was stunning, wasn't it?
That's as good as I've seen Man City for probably 4 seasons, and they've won trophies in that period of time. I think Stuart's right to mention the first 30 minutes where Liverpool did have chances. Mo Salah missing a clear-cut opportunity that I think a season ago he sticks in the back of the net. He thought about it too much, but from that moment it was breathtaking at times how they broke through and split that Liverpool midfield apart, and then just got through that back line so easy, and the ball's coming into the area. But you want somebody who's clinical at the end of all the good play, and a performance from Erling Haaland today that again I've not seen for a long time. I know he scored goals, he's went through some dry periods this season. That was phenomenal, it really was. The bigger question, Adrian, for me is what's happening in the other technical area. It's okay losing, it's how you lose.
Yeah, listen, you know me, I want to embrace the joy of football. That's why I'm talking more about City. We will get to Liverpool. Erling Haaland has just completed some TV duties, waved to the crowd as he leaves the pitch down the tunnel, and maybe he was due a hat-trick, been a little while, but he got it, and some brilliant finishes there. You're talking about his goals, Mickey Gray, but some brilliant finishes from him. The glancing header first half, and I love the one that Nico O'Reilly set up for him. Low ball into the box from O'Reilly from the left, and he just swings at it first time in off the underside of the bar. It was a lovely finish, that.
Yeah, like as if I know I'm going to score. Doesn't matter if it goes in off the top of the crossbar. I just need to make contact with it. It felt like the old Erling Haaland, who just doesn't think about scoring goals. Whereas I think maybe on occasions this season he's had an extra touch and it hasn't come up for him. But Nico O'Reilly, I mean, the move down that left-hand side to set up Erling Haaland for that hat-trick goal was absolutely outstanding. I talked about letting the reins off a full-back, and you can't keep them on a player like Nico O'Reilly because that is the type of quality that he gives you in the opposition's half. It was a great little pull-back just to pick him out. Any other full-back might have got in that position and maybe thrashed one across the penalty area or the 6-yard box, or maybe tried to dink one to the far post. He'd had that little glance and look just before he played it to him. He knew Erling was there, who pulled away from Konate yet again. Super finish.
OK, we're going to have to let you go shortly, but your verdict on Liverpool and Arne Slot, if they get a big defeat in Paris, is that it?
Well, I mean, the season's not over, is it? Because they've got to still try and challenge for one of those Champions League positions come the end of the season. But I think there's a manner in how you lose. And the body language that I saw from those Liverpool players, and top of that tree as well, was the captain in Virgil van Dijk. Let's not leave him out of this. Yes, he might have been urging his players on or waving his arms around, but you've got to stand up and be the captain. And there was a period in that game where he didn't do that and the players reacted to it.
Very interesting. Mickey Gray, we'll let you go and talk to the managers. Manchester City through to the semi-finals of the FA Cup. Big winners here this afternoon, live and exclusive on Talksport. Manchester City 4, Liverpool 0. Haaland hat-trick, Semenyo with the other just after half-time. And Stuart Pearce, your take on Liverpool, because that really wasn't good. That is the kind of performance, never mind the result, the kind of performance second half where you start a bit of soul searching, you're looking in the mirror and you're wondering what exactly is going on with the football club.
Yeah, there was, as Mickey picked up there and we picked up in commentary, there was the body language of one or two. Semi-understandable, they're being pumped at Manchester City and that's not good for them or their fans, but they've got to pick themselves up. Football is relentless. Top-level sport is relentless. When you think you've delivered a result, all of a sudden there's a result round the corner that puts you on your backside. That's flawed Liverpool as a football club today. They need to respond, and the best way to do that is deliver a performance on Wednesday evening. OK, so what happens if that doesn't happen? We're going to be there in Paris watching Liverpool try to take on the European champions, and we know, we've seen it before, the Paris Saint-Germain can really turn it on. In the final, they've scored 5 without reply. And they could do that to Liverpool. This second half, Liverpool turns up in the Parc des Princes on Wednesday night on Talksport, and PSG are on it. Liverpool could get another beating. So what happens then? Because the question remains, as Mickey said, yeah, they've still got to fight for a top 5, a Champions League finish. But do they trust Arne Slot to deliver that if they've just had a couple of beatings in succession, if they do lose on Wednesday? Well, for me, I don't think a change of manager at this stage of the season is going to be helpful. I really don't. You're talking, where they are at the moment, changing a manager before a Champions League quarter-final is not the way forward. So, if you're going to do anything, it'll be after that moment in time. I can't see the point at that stage. Their results will be their results, I think. And if you're going to make a change, or they think they're going to, you're going to have to wait till the summer.
Clearly, the important thing on Wednesday is that they hang in there, because they've got a second leg the following Tuesday to be able to turn things around if necessary. And we've already seen in the recent past, in between those two, that whoever wins the first leg might not be the side that go through. But what has been a really alarming drop-off this season for Liverpool is their ability when they go behind. So they've now gone behind in 18 games in League and Cup over the course of this season. They've lost 14 of those 18. 2 wins, 2 draws, and they've lost the rest. And you don't look at their ability to be able to work their way out of tight corners and difficult situations as being a long suit. Far from it. It's the same today. Up until the penalty has gone in, they have been Manchester City's equivalent throughout the course of the opening 35 minutes. But City had a good 5-minute spell leading up to the penalty. But for the first 35 minutes, Liverpool were largely matching them shot for shot. They had the majority of possession. As soon as Liverpool went 1-0 up, that effectively was it. The second goal came not long after that. They were never going to turn it around. They fell apart. That is an alarming trait that we've seen so many times now for Liverpool. That is something that has to be sorted out. I've not a clue how you do it, but it's something that's got to be sorted out, because it just looks as though they don't have the ability, when things are going wrong, to be able to pull themselves out of the mire.
Well, Stuart Pearce, you tell us how you do that, how you change that around. That sounds like once something goes against you, heads drop to the point where you can't retrieve it. That's what's going on with Liverpool. Maybe that's because players don't have a belief in what they're being asked to do, maybe don't have a belief in each other, or don't have a belief in the manager. Something there that makes their heads drop. How do you turn that around? And does it look like they can turn it around? Because it's become the norm now for Liverpool, when they go behind, to lose a game.
Yeah, I mean, this is a team, this time last year, were on the verge of winning the league, which is amazing, you know. The stat that Jim's just thrown at us there, the fact that they failed to turn round games and lost that amount of games having gone behind, certainly points to the fact of that mental strength and mental courage within the group. And in all honesty, in the second half at times you looked at their team and they were looking at each other. The blame game was going on out there, you know. But probably the best thing that can happen to Liverpool Football Club is you have a game of the magnitude of PSG on Wednesday to focus on.
Do you think the fans are thinking that, though? Because those fans, I mean, they've generally stayed behind the club, team, managers over the years, you would say, even when things were a little bit, going against them. Those fans left way before the end today.
Yeah, they did. As I say, it was a humiliating day for the fans of Liverpool. Make no mistake, when it went to sort of 3 and 4-0, no doubt about that. If I was them, I would point to the fact, 2019 it was, when they ended up being 3-0 down against Barcelona, and they turned that around. That would be my focus now. I'd get the analysis boys to get that up and put it on a screen and do a montage of that and say that is what Liverpool Football Club stand for. Now go and deliver that performance and that mental strength that it took to turn that result round. Do not be feeling sorry for yourself.
It feels like a long 7 years, doesn't it? When you look at it that way. I mean, that was an extraordinary comeback, the likes of which has hardly got a parallel in European football. There's one or two, but really not very many. The Champions League final, when the miracle of Istanbul, where they were in an impossible position and came back and lifted the trophy. It can be done, but it feels like a massive stretch to be able to do that at any stage this season on the back of what we've seen today. And, you know, the other games that they've gone 1-0 down and haven't been able to turn around. Listen, they haven't gone 1-0 down in Paris yet. We're not writing them off. But I think the point is there that it really isn't my position to say that there is a lack of character in the side, but the numbers would point towards that being a possible conclusion. That when things do start to unravel, they unravel more quickly than they have done at other Liverpool teams throughout the years.
There's another simple stat, and it is about losing games. I mentioned before that of 31 Premier League games this season, they've lost 10, which I find to be a breathtaking number. Liverpool have now lost 15 games across all competitions this season. That's the most games in a single season for over a decade. The last time was 2014-15, 18 defeats under Brendan Rodgers. You know, they're breaking new ground that they don't want to break here. And I think that when we talk about moments like the Barcelona comeback, when you have Trent Alexander-Arnold at his imaginative, creative best, when you've in that period where that front three are absolutely flying, when Mane is sensational. I know that not all of these players played on that night against Barcelona, but Mane was sensational when Salah was absolutely at his peak, at his very, very best playing football. You know, that Salah isn't here anymore. There's a different Salah who today, I mean, I don't know how you describe his performance, really. Got into some good positions, but missed chances that he would normally score, I think, a penalty among them. This is a completely different side. The drop-off, Stuart, is so stark that I wouldn't forgive any Liverpool fans if they had no faith in getting through this quarter-final against PSG.
No, you wouldn't. On that performance, on that sort of the character and the drop-off on the second half with what you saw with your eyes, you're right in what you say about Salah. I mean, he had great opportunity in the first half, took an eternity to get his finish away, and Kusanov got back at him, which he should never have done. He's missed a penalty. And on top of that, I remember the one to our right-hand side. You've got to come onto it and fade it into the far corner, and he's missed it by a country mile. Salah in his pomp buries that and probably gets a hat-trick today.
Yeah, he does. And that was the difference, really. Salah is not at that level anymore. And whether that's just because, you know, time has caught up with him or his best days are behind him, whatever way you want to describe it, that could be the case. But there's a reality that needs addressing in this Liverpool side. There's also a reality that they won the title last season. The manager was given a whole load of money and new players to build on that, and Liverpool appear to have gone backwards. That's how it could be translated, and that is a problem.
Yes, I don't think that enough is ever made of the anguish and tragedy before the season started and the effect that would have on certain individuals. I'm not saying that everything that has followed has been solely dependent on that tragedy. It has to play a part. It must play a part. And I just think that in a way, outside of Liverpool, got forgotten about 6 weeks after it happened. That it's, they're losing games. Well, okay, that will be a part of this. That doesn't, that we could turn back time. It doesn't change the situation that they're in now. It doesn't change the immense problems that we believe they have now. But how do they put a positive spin on this? For the first 35 minutes, they were playing against a City team that we've all described as having one of their best performances for the last 3 or 4 years, and yet they could have been ahead after 35 minutes. Ekitike has come close. Salah's missed his chances at 0-0. Now, one of those goes in, and it has the potential to be very different. So I think that's what they've got to look at. They've got to make sure that they stop conceding the first goal. They've got to make sure that they don't concede as many goals late in games. That wasn't a problem today, but the stable door had long been opened. They've conceded more goals in the last 15 minutes of games this season than anybody else in the Premier League bar one, and have conceded 5 goals in stoppage time over the course of this season, which have been winning goals against them, which is a new Premier League record. That's been well documented, but that's another aspect that they've got to be able to sort out. But if you're looking at it now, clean sheet of paper, how do they go about taking on PSG? They've just got to try and play with the same verve in the opening 30-35 minutes for that game as they did. They need something to stick. They've got to be able to take a chance when it comes their way. That was a problem today, and when they go 1-0 down, they've just got to make sure that they don't wilt.
I think let's just focus on the Diogo Jota tragedy for a moment, because you're right that has to have an impact. It has to have an impact, and to the point where owners, chief execs could say, listen, this has had a big impact. Let's just hold off here and just let this season play out, and then we go again in the summer. You could look at it like that. Got to remember they started really well, and mid-season Mo Salah hasn't had a problem coming out and saying I haven't got a relationship with the manager, which I thought was an incredibly disruptive thing to say. And then he's straight back in the team after being dropped for one Champions League game like nothing's ever been said. So I thought that whole situation was really weird, because that feeling inside Mo Salah doesn't go away just because he's been dropped for one game and left out of a trip in the Champions League. That puzzled me, that whole situation. That's got to still go on. And then Salah announces that he's leaving at the end of the season. So I agree with you that it has to have an impact. And we can't really, unless you're in that dressing room and you know him, and you knew Diogo Jota, then you can't really judge that. But you're right, it has had an impact. Let's get the reaction of Arne Slot. Liverpool beaten today. He's with Mickey Gray.
Thanks, lads. Arne, how do you assess the performance like that today?
It's very disappointing. The result even more. Losing 4-0 in a game like this is a big disappointment.
How do you assess the remainder of your season and what is still to play for now?
No, I think I've said many times there are 3 things to play for. There was FA Cup, Champions League, and qualifying for the Champions League. Now, we've lost here today in the FA Cup, so there now are 2 objectives to play for, and that's Champions League and qualifying for the Champions League.
In a manner of a defeat like that, what do you say to the players, and I suppose a message for the supporters as well?
Yeah. First of all, to the players, I don't think after the game you say too much, because everyone is so disappointed after losing an FA Cup quarter-final against City in the way we did, with losing 4-0. And to the fans, I can only say that their support was great for a long time, or long period of the game. They were so loud, they were helpful for us, and that's a big compliment if you see how our season has gone till now.
For 30 minutes, you created chances, you were in the game. What changed from that moment? How did the momentum turn towards Manchester City?
the goal they scored. So we were both I think it was quite an equal game in the first 30-35 minutes, and we were definitely part of the game. And then they scored their penalty, and there was only a few minutes to go to half time, and we have a throw in. We lose that ball and they score, and the 3-0 is the same. We have a throw in our own half. We lose the ball, and 5 seconds later the ball is in our net. So how was that the 4-0? But two were from a throw in from us.
First performance from Mo Salah today since he announced he was going to leave the club. He's obviously missed the penalty, but the big chances early on in the game maybe could have actually put you in front.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. It's a chance, and a chance can be missed. And unfortunately this season far too many times we've missed our chances. And the teams we are facing are quite clinical in converting their chances. And that's what City again did today. Penalty, of course, that's a big chance, and they scored from that. But the second one was quite similar to the one we conceded earlier on this season over here. A cross, which Haaland promoted into a goal.
And for yourself, you've got some very difficult games coming up towards the end of the season. We know Paris Saint-Germain is just round the corner as well. But is Champions League football next season a priority?
Yeah, that's what I just said. But first of all, now we go to Paris, and we have to react. We have to react to this defeat. We have to react to this season. That's what we owe to ourselves, that we owe to our fans, and that's also what we're going to do Wednesday evening.
And you feel that is achievable?
Yeah, that is achievable. We've shown that before last season. We were very competitive against them as well, and we know how good of a team City is. We knew how good of a team Paris Saint-Germain is, but as you said, for the first 45 minutes or 35 minutes we were very competitive today, but after conceding a goal we weren't competitive anymore, and that's something we have to do better if we concede a goal in Paris.
Thank you, Arne.
Well, that was really interesting at the end when he's alluding to conceding a goal and how they react to it. He also said, Stuart Pearce, that they have to react and they owe that to the fans. He's clearly incredibly down after that Arne Slot, and any wonder.
Oh, he's flat as a pancake, as you'd expect. There's no doubt about that. You've got a dressing room of players looking at you, wanting answers, really. They've got their defence mechanisms up because they've just been pumped out on the pitch, the players. And you as a manager have to attempt to put a stick-on smile on your face and lift the whole dressing room and try and lift yourself in that process as well. So, really difficult. Listen, it's a lonely place, management, when you get results like this, make no mistake. But he knows he's got to be the one that comes in tomorrow morning, if they're in tomorrow morning for a recovery, that says, hey, come on, let's go again.
Yeah, I was intrigued when he said, and you speak from your experience, that he didn't need to say too much to the players. They're down. Now, from the outside, we look at it and think teacups will be flying and there'll be voices raised and maybe the captain will get involved, senior players might get involved, somebody will have somebody up against the wall. That doesn't happen, no?
No, listen, do you think if you've just played for Liverpool and come off and you've been knocked out the FA Cup 4-0 by Manchester City, and at the end of the whole of the second half been totally outplayed, do you think you need someone pointing a finger at you saying how bad you are? You don't. All it's going to be is pure conflict. If you want conflict to blow off a bit of steam, there's enough volatility in that dressing room now to stoke that up. Players don't need that now. There's nothing to be gained from it. You have to have a gain from every interaction you have with the players. There's no gain at the moment. You're better off going in there and say, make sure you work on your recovery. We've got a big game Wednesday. We'll have a chat tomorrow. End of. That's it.
What did you make of the body language of the Liverpool players during the game?
First half, not a problem for me. Second half, I said to Jim at half-time, I thought they would make a couple of changes. Maybe Gomez at right back, try and change things, get Slobberslide playing further up the pitch rather than doubling up, and just change something a little bit at half-time. That wasn't forthcoming. And the second half performance and the body language was, well, to be fair, there was a lot of finger-pointing from player to player to technical area potentially, but listen, we've all been there as players, sad to say.
You did say during commentary that they gave up the ghost and then explained it a little bit further. Like some of the players, it looked like they'd given up the game. I mean, in hindsight now, when you're looking back on that, would you stick by that comment and just expand on it? How does that, when you're in the heat of the game, when you're out there and the ball's at your feet or coming, how does that show itself?
Yeah, I think how you press the opposition, your recovery runs, it's a great indicator of whether you've packed this game in and give it up. And I think that was probably the case. Ball goes beyond you, and you look over your shoulder to a teammate and say, well, where are you? Why have you not done your job? You know, there was a little bit of that a large dollop of that crept in to the performance of Liverpool in the second half. But listen, any team can come here and get outplayed. City are an outstanding side, and they put a performance on from probably a good defensive performance to stop Liverpool scoring in the first 30 minutes. Then after that, a level of performance where they dictated the football and created some great goals.
We'll talk more about what this might mean for City between now and the end of the season, and what it might mean, City's performance might mean in terms of Arsenal between now and the end of the season as well, and actually analyse whether it might be the best thing going forward for Liverpool to make a change at the top, whether now or after Wednesday or in the summer, because there are managers available, notably Xabi Alonso, a Liverpool legend, is free and ready to go. So there may be Liverpool fans listening to this right now saying things have got to change. That could be the case. We've already heard from Arne Slot. We will hear from the City camp very shortly on Talksport. City are through to the FA Cup semi-final live on Talksport. They thrash Liverpool 4-0.